best Raw in the world, but definitely a Raw that had talking points. And that's what we look for. We look for talking points. Definitely don't want a show where everything just feels a bit skippable, a bit missable. And that certainly was not what we got with Raw this week. So very much appreciate that. So coming off the back of a Raw, which I think it was good. I certainly enjoyed it. Wasn't bored. We got talking points. Now we're going to head towards NXT, where we have got a few interesting things going on. Obviously, the biggest of which is the return of Trick Williams. So Trick Williams is coming back. We know that we're heading towards Stand and Deliver. Stand and Deliver is going to be on the Saturday of WrestleMania weekend. So it's not that far away, about 3 weeks away. It's shaping up to be a big, big show. We know that we've got Tony going up against Elia. We know that we've got Carmelo. He's going to be taking on Trick. I don't know who is going to be taking on Lyra. I'm guessing it's going to be Roxanne. So we've probably got that that's going to happen. And obviously we need to figure out who is going to end up facing the tag champs, Braun and Baron. I don't know if you saw in an episode of Unseen, I actually did a video, a little breakdown in there of how we're going to find, or I included Ava's video of how we're going to find the challengers. I can't remember the teams off the top of my head, but basically 2 teams are going to face this week, 2 teams are going to face next week, and then 2 teams are going to face the week after. Then we put all 3 winners into a triple threat to figure out who's going to end up facing the tag champs at Stand and Deliver. So it's got like LWO, OTM, Chase, I think Chase U are in there. So it's just got a load of teams basically. So they'll be over the next few weeks working through that so that we can figure out who's going to be taking on Braun and Baron. So that means we'll probably have one of them matches tonight. So we should have one of those as we take a few more steps forward as well. And honestly, I've not had a chance to really have a look and see what else has been announced. I know we have Femi taking on Brooks Jensen. Ridge Holland against Sean Spears. So that's also been announced. Mr. Stone taking on Lexis King. I really don't care about that feud. I don't know if I should. I mean, I'm sure I should, but I just don't care about that feud. Mr. Stone's putting out a few videos and bits online trying to, talk about how much this means to him. But I don't know. It's just not one that I'm really that engaged with, to be honest. And it looks like we're getting OTM against LWO. So we're getting that tonight as well. And, of course, Trick Williams. So, yeah, there's a few bits for us to get our teeth into. Rich Holland against Sean Spears. I still don't know how I feel about the Sean Spears return. I mean, I really used to enjoy Ty Dillinger, but I just don't know if I'm really into the Sean Spears character. Sean Spears didn't do it for me at all in AEW, and so far it's not quite doing it for me here. So I don't know, we'll see how it plays out. There's definitely enough on the show for me to be excited just for Trick Williams alone. But and Brooks Jensen, can't wait to see him. I'm a big fan of what he's doing at the moment. But Sean Spears, Mr. Stone, we'll see. Brody said if Elia does drop the title at Stand and Deliver, then surely that means he's main roster bound. The question is, when does he arrive, and would they have plans for him? Yeah, I think if he's going to drop the title, then I think there's probably a good chance he is main roster bound. I would hope that the communication between Sean and Triple H is very, very strong. They're obviously the best of friends, and I would imagine they talk on a regular basis. Don't forget, NXT is very much Triple H's baby. He knows the frustrations of sending people up from NXT and them being changed and mistreated and not used. It's really interesting because Triple H is now seeing it from the other perspective. And so I think that he will do his best to ensure there are plans for people coming up from NXT, that once they get called up, there's something for them to do. People might point to Odyssey Jones and, Zion Quinn and people like that, but those superstars didn't have much of a run in NXT. So I don't know quite how or why we're using them the way we're using them. I don't know why they're doing what they're doing, right? That would be very interesting to find out. Why are they using Zion Quinn the way they've used him? Because he hasn't really been used in NXT all that much. He hadn't built himself up to being like in the main event scene or anything. He was sort of someone which you probably could have got to a North American title, but we hadn't done much with him. And then all of a sudden he's being drafted to, I can't remember if it was SmackDown or Raw, and we were all very surprised at that. He might even have been a free agent, but either way, he was drafted, and then we've just not seen him, and he just got squashed the other day to, I think it was a Bron Breakker, wasn't it? So that was strange how he was used, very, very strange, and I can't explain why we've done that with him. But I do trust that Triple H is going to do the best he can for talent that get called up. So, yeah, I mean, look, Ilya coming up, it would be amazing. I do see the night after WrestleMania as being the start of the next season, if you will. I know officially the season premiere is October, November, or, you know, that around that time. But for me, the season premiere is the night after WrestleMania. Because to me, a lot of your feuds and your stories finish at WrestleMania. Granted, in this day and age, some certainly continue, but for me, you know, you work to WrestleMania, you start building to WrestleMania, you know, end stories at WrestleMania. That's where you do the big blow-off match, the big encounter match. And then that means the next night we can start with our new stories and our new direction. This is why the Raw after WrestleMania was always so exciting, because you did get some of them shock title changes. You did get some of them shock call-ups. You did get some of those shock returns. You know, it did feel like the start of something new. And so, yeah, for me, I'd be looking at that, to be honest. I'd be looking at the Raw after WrestleMania. Unless they want to put him on SmackDown, of course. And then it would be on the Friday, of course. But, yeah, I don't think that we would have to wait too long. I mean, there's not really a need to wait too long. I think he's main roster ready. So many dream matches for Ilya, said Brony. Ilya against Pete Dunne would be amazing. Yeah, well, loads. You're absolutely right. There'd be loads of great matches for him. Loads of things that we could do. So, yeah, I would be excited as well for Ilya to come up to the main roster. He could just quietly cook away. You know, he would eat up a segment. He'd eat up a match that would just bang and deliver. And, yeah, it'd be really, really good. Tom said Jade might be on the Raw after Mania. Yeah, she might do. She might do. Kian said, Daze, I hope you are well. I enjoyed the Unseen video today. I'm looking forward to NXT tonight, and Raw was decent last night. I appreciate it, dude. I'm pleased that you enjoyed Unseen. It was so... I think it was the hardest Unseen I've ever had to do, because I reckon I already had about half an hour worth of stuff to talk about, and that was before Raw even started. And so my concern was that this was going to go over an hour, and I really don't want them to go over an hour, because I think you've got to draw a line somewhere. You know, in my mind, Unseen should be like 15, 20 minutes long. And in my mind, that's what ideally I'd like to get them to. But I don't want to leave anything out that I think is genuinely interesting. Anything that I think, if it catches my eye and it makes me go, oh, that's interesting, then in my mind, if I put that in the video, someone out there is going to feel the same. And, you know, I just get to the point where I've got an hour's worth of stuff, basically, or 40 minutes worth of stuff. So I already had about half an hour's worth of stuff, and then I had a load more from Raw, and so my concern was that we were going to go long. And the other problem I had as well is that, to be honest, I was feeling the effects of the weekend, because we did the boxing on Friday, we did SmackDown on Friday, we did UFC on Saturday, I did Unseen videos throughout that time as well. We did the opinion video for SmackDown as well. Like, there was quite a bit that was going on over the weekend. So by the time I got to Monday, I was kind of running on fumes a little bit, to be honest. I feel fine now, but yeah, I was running on fumes a little bit. So then to do a 5-hour Raw stream meant that when I finished, I was feeling it. I was definitely feeling it. And at that point, then I needed to do a review and then needed to do Unseen. So I would say it was the hardest Unseen because, and I watched it back earlier today, and there's a part where I'm like, I'm sorry if it seems like I'm going a million miles an hour because I just want to try and make sure we get through all this stuff. But actually I was watching it, I was like, you're talking so slow. You're like, you know, you seem to be talking, in my head I'm going really quick. In my head I'm like blah 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 blah. But I was watching it, I think I was so tired that in my head I think I'm going quite quick. But actually, verbally, I'm talking quite normal. So, and I think it's just because I was like so tired. So, yeah, I was definitely feeling it whilst doing that one. So, if it came across good or you got something from it, I mean, there was loads of good stuff in it. Loads of good stuff in it. I've got no worries about if it had good content in there because there was loads of good stuff that was in it. But yeah, if it came across good and you had a good time watching it, then that's all that matters, isn't it? So, very, very good. It was a nightmare to try and figure out what the thumbnail should be for it, though. I was looking at it, I was like, oh, I could go with that, I could go with that. And, you know, it was already quite late because it took ages to put together. So I just went with the Chad Gable thing. So, you know, yeah, I'm glad that you continue to enjoy it. And a big thank you to everyone that continues to support that series. There will, of course, be another one that goes up after tonight's NXT. Right, we answered the Elia one. Kian, shout out to you. Do you think the bloodline is running out, says Alan. Do I think the bloodline is running out? I think that the bloodline is going into a new phase, which is where we're now going to start a new story. And I don't know if that means what that actually means. So I expect Cody to finish the story. How the bloodline react to Roman losing, what Rock does at WrestleMania, blah, 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 blah. I think we're all expecting Roman at WrestleMania 41. So actually the 12 months between WrestleMania 40 and WrestleMania 41 are going to be very interesting because the bloodline, I think, are going to go through their biggest change and actually might end up completely splitting apart. So this 12-month period, I can't tell you how it's going to play out, but it's going to be obviously the biggest change in the bloodline. And it may result in there being no more bloodline. It could be that this is the beginning of the end. So, yeah, I think that bloodline is running out of time. Right, Brony said, did you see the WOL Wrestling Observer Live? Which is really weird way of putting it, by the way. Did you see that they have said WWE are making moves for Brock Lesnar? Okay, let's talk about that. Because this has gone everywhere in the sense, it's a bit concerning, actually, how many people have sent me this thing. I've even had someone getting in touch with me going, I told you he's coming back, right? It's a bit concerning that so many people are like really quick to spread this stuff, but seemingly no one thinks to go and listen to the actual radio report. It just seems like people just like, if WrestleMania says something, that's it. They jump on it. Like it's weird, isn't it? Anyone else think this is weird? Like, as soon as I see something like that, my first thought is, I'll listen to that. I'll go and check that out, and so I'll try and find the audio clip so I can listen to it for myself. Like, I appreciate WrestleMania telling me that something has been said, but I ain't gonna take that as, well, I can't even take it really as gospel, if you will, because what exactly is it that they said? They said, I've been tagged in it a few times. Here we go. There are movements to bring Brock Lesnar back to WWE, right? There are movements to bring Brock Lesnar back to WWE. So I went over to, just very quickly after the Wrestling Escape Pod ended, that to me is an indicator, let's go and listen to the radio thing. So I found the moment. I haven't been able to listen to all of it, so I can't really speak in much detail. But what I can tell you is Brian Alvarez said, first of all, I can't tell you if they did or didn't remove him from the website, right? So like, for me, no one has come forward and given me evidence that he was ever removed from the website. No, not a single person. So I am still under the belief that he was never removed. And even Brian Alvarez says, I don't know if he was or if he wasn't. But what I can tell you is that there was inquiries about bringing Brock back. Now, I would ask the question, what does that mean? Who's inquiring to who, and how serious is it? Because Brian Alvarez says we don't, we'll have to wait and see exactly what that means. So to me, what does that mean? Is that Triple H asking Nick Khan, can we bring Brock back? Like, where are we with the Brock situation? And Nick Khan turning around saying, no, we can't because who's asking who? Who's inquiring to who? Is WWE inquiring to Brock? We want to bring you back now. That could be. Or is it that it's Triple H asking Nick Khan? Or is it talent asking Triple H? Like, I don't know who's asking who. So again, it's another example of a story that's doing the rounds, that's got very little information behind it, and that everyone jumps on top of and gets overly excited about. And we've just been down this road, and you'd think people would learn. But, like, again, we've got another situation where I've got people going, I told you he's coming back. And it's like, dude, don't even get in touch with me. Just don't even get in touch with me. Because I don't need this conversation with people that aren't gonna actually do any work here, right? Either sit there and we'll tell you exactly what's going on, but wait for that to come out, or go and do a bit of work and see what you can find out yourself. Because if you listen to it, there's very little information behind it. I mean, granted, I've still got to listen to the rest of the thing, but from the, I would say, minute that I've listened to already when they talk about this in particular, it's not something that they really have got any detail on. The only thing, I mean, they can't even say if he was removed from the website or not. They can't even confirm that. All they can say is that inquiries have been made. That's all they can say. And actually, all that WrestleMania have said is that there are movements to bring Brock Lesnar back to WWE. So, again, people have looked at this, and in some people's minds right now, he's coming back. This is my point. In some people's minds right now, he's back. He'll be back by WrestleMania. Yeah, I told you he's coming back. He's coming back. It's like, dude, don't. I ain't got time to deal with people like that. Like, I'm over here. I'll tell you what, I'm going to look into the detail. I'm going to look to see what the facts are, right? If people want to go off and, go and shout at clouds or something, then go and do that. But, yeah, for me, this is interesting. It's certainly something to be aware of. It's certainly something that we can watch the progression of. But to me, still nothing has changed. We're still in a situation where he's not going to be at WrestleMania. We're still in a situation where we're exactly where we were 2 weeks ago. The only thing that's changed is apparently inquiries have been made, but we don't have the detail as to who's inquired to who, or how serious those inquiries are, what progress those inquiries are. I don't know. I don't have any of that detail. So I will try and listen to that. Radio clip a bit more to see if there is anything a little more in there. But the whole Brock section that they were talking about, where he actually had some information, I covered that. I got that bit. So I am just still sitting here with no Brock Lesnar. That's kind of where I am with it. So, yeah, this is what you get, though, unfortunately, because you do have these large accounts that have big followings, and when they tweet something out and they get a bit excited about it, because I think WrestleMania put holy shiz at the bottom, which, everyone's like, what? That kind of gets people fired up, and it's meant to, because they want their post to be shared. Right, and they want their videos to be shared, and they want the engagement, and they want the conversation. And I'm not down on them for doing that. No problem with them doing that. But it does get people fired up, and people then starting to it just starts all the conversation for the wrong reason. People aren't having the same conversations as other people now. Now you're going to have idiots running around telling you that Brock's coming back when there's no evidence of that. There's no evidence of that. But now you'll have people telling you Brock's coming back, and they'll start fantasy booking it, and then they'll start expecting him to show up in a gauntlet match, and he didn't, did he? So, do you know what I mean? Like, and then I've got idiots telling me that Bo Dallas is, you know, Dreadmare and all this kind of stuff. There's so much waffle that's out there. There is so much rubbish that's out there. Like, what I would say is, if you see a post like this, try and look into it. Try and look into it. Don't try and fall into the same trap that a load of people keep falling into and just believe in everything you're seeing that's getting written down. Because there's just so much exaggeration, and there's so much Chinese whispers, and there's so much stuff that just gets blown out of proportion, you know? It's I think I said this actually in the opinions video. It's a real murky world, the wrestling rumor world. It's a real murky world where there's just a lot of, you know, there's been so many occasions where Dave Meltzer will speculate about something. So he won't say that he's got a source. He'll just be like, yeah, it definitely feels like such and such is going to face such and such at WrestleMania, right? So he'll say it feels like it's going to go that way. He won't say he's been told. He'll just say, yeah, you can see it's heading that way. And then someone like Ringside News will have an article that says Dave Meltzer says such and such versus such and such for WrestleMania. And if you listen to the clip, he did say it, but he also said he thinks it's going that way. Not that he knows it's going that way. But it's really interesting to see like all these news outlets just that are desperate for engagement. Every single day they've got targets of clicks and views that they need to try and achieve. And so, you know, they'll take these sound bites and they'll try and make stories out of them, you know? Some of the stuff that goes on would blow your mind, man. There are wrestling news organizations that directly work with trolls, right? And so the troll, I don't know that they ask the troll to do stuff, but they engage with trolls. I know this for a fact. And the trolls will then go off and say something so that the news outlet can then write the story on it. Like there's some dark stuff that goes on in the wrestling world with wrestling media and all that sort of stuff. So it's definitely something to just be aware of. Edward said, did you check out the movie app thing? No, I didn't get a chance, but it looks good though. I will definitely keep an eye on it. Dave likes to speculate. If it doesn't happen, he says plans change. Well, I mean, look, if Dave speculates, I don't have a problem with that, because if he says that a source has told him, and then that doesn't happen, well, it could be that plans have changed, and I think fans would understand that once in a while, right? Fans, you know, would obviously have a moan, whatever, but I think if you've got a good hit rate, if there's going to be the odd thing where plans have changed, I think people can forgive that. But it's where plans change becomes a very regular thing, you know, and all of a sudden then I think people might start doubting if you've actually got sources. But I have to admit, I do feel a bit sorry for Dave Meltzer, because I do think that his name is a name that everyone knows. And I do think that, and I've seen it myself, lots of occasions where they will go and take something he has said where he is only basically sharing his opinion. It's not something that he knows for fact, it's his opinion, and then a story will be made out of it, and then, you know, it doesn't go that way, and you know, Dave said this. Well, it's like, well, yeah, he did say that, but he also said he thought it was going that way. And it's kind of like, I can sympathize, because, you know, we talk about wrestling all the time. So it's a bit like someone asking me, oh, who do you think's going to win Money in the Bank? And I say, at the moment, I think Sammy's going to win it. And then Ringside News or someone saying Wrestling Daze said Sammy's going to win Money in the Bank. And it's like, well, I did say that, but I did also say I think Sammy is going to win Money in the Bank, right? And so I think Dave gets kind of caught with that quite often. I think that, as I said, the truth is there's a lot of companies out there that are trying to hit clicks and views and likes and engagement. They're trying to hit targets for those things every single day. And if there's news, actual news, well, that makes life easier. If there's no news, you have to make it, or you have to exaggerate it, or you have to, you know, do whatever, give it a little tickle. And so I think there is a lot of that goes on in the wrestling world. But I would imagine it's not only the wrestling world. I would imagine the same is true in football and everywhere. Do you know, funny actually, I used to do a football channel, Football Daze, and I used to do a video each day where I spoke about the latest rumours. And it was like such and such go into Man United, such and such go into Chelsea, right? And where I used to get the information from was from the BBC website. So good source, I would think. BBC website. And what they did is they pulled out the biggest transfer stories from all the newspapers. So they'd take the biggest transfer stories from the Sun, from the Mirror, from the Daily Mail, from the Telegraph, from the Independent. They'd take all this information and they'd put it just in a long list. So you can just literally go down and read nothing but the transfer rumours, right? And they've took it all from the different newspapers. So I would take that information and make a video out of it. Like, this is what's being said at the moment, such and such. This is in the Independent from blah, 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 blah. And I can remember doing loads of thumbnails and all this kind of stuff. And I remember going back to them about a year afterwards, and I don't think a single one had come true. Not a single one. And I must have done about, I don't know, 30 odd videos, probably even more, because I was trying to do them every day. And I reckon I did about 30 videos, and I was looking at the thumbnails, and I was like, well, that didn't happen, 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 that didn't happen. So it's funny because I still do it. I'm a Man United fan, so every day I look to see who Man United are going to sign or who were rumoured to be signing. And I do, even now, before I go to bed, I'll always look to see what the latest rumours are, because I'm a Man United fan. I like to have a look and keep up with who were meant to be signing, who we're interested in. And I think we get linked to about 500 players every year. I feel like every day there's a different player we're being linked to. And I'm sure we are probably looking at some of these players, but, you know, the amount that actually result in a transfer or whatever, and then you just start to think, are they just making this up? Like, you know, is it just because they need to hit the engagement, whatever? Do you reckon they've just done it because it just looks good, done it on the back page? So Man United are interested in Messi or whatever, and, you know, nice big back page. You'll sell some papers, people will read it. Next day, the world moves on to something different. So, you know, I'm not having a pop. Well, I suppose I am having a little pop at the wrestling news world, but I don't think it's alone. I think that it happens in kind of every sport and happens everywhere, that we know that clicks and likes and views and everything, that's what makes the world go round now. Used to be money. I'm not so sure it is. I think it's engagement now. I think it's likes and views and all of that that seems to make the world go round. So I think that I think the Brock thing is interesting. I think it's something to be aware of. I think it's a situation that is playing out kind of in the background, and we don't quite know what's happening. There's no proof of the roster page thing, so we can't, you know, nothing's changed there. And apparently what I've heard is that there have been some inquiries, but I don't know how serious they are. I don't know who it's between. There's literally that is all I know. You know what I know, because I went and listened to the thing, which a lot of people seemingly just didn't do. Instead, they just share the WrestleMania thing round and get excited thinking that Brock's coming back next week. So that's where we are with that. Daze, who do you think will have more long-term success? Will it be Jade Cargill or will it be Tiffany Stratton? More long-term success. very difficult to answer because Tiffany Stratton is like 24. Jade Cargill, I think, is like 32. So certainly Tiffany is going to have longer in the company. I mean, Jade Cargill, I could imagine, will do maybe 10 years. Maybe get to her early 40s, but she might want to make her money and go off. I don't know how passionate she is about wrestling. I don't think she's not passionate, but I think she did basketball before. I mean, I suppose you could ask the question, how passionate is Tiffany? Because I don't know that she grew up a wrestling fan. I think she was doing gymnastics and whatever, which is fine. There's no problems in that. But I think if you're Bayley, for example, or Roxanne Perez, who grew up a wrestling fan, and it's in them, you know, it's probably going to be harder for them to step away from the wrestling business. They're probably going to be a bit more in that sort of Sting, Ric Flair kind of mold, where it's going to be harder to walk away. Jade Cargill, I don't know. I honestly don't know if she grew up a wrestling fan, or if this is just like she's found something that's working for her right now. She's a star, you know. But listen, Jade Cargill is absolutely someone that could transition to Hollywood. I would not be shocked if Hollywood came calling for Jade Cargill. She's already been in a Super Bowl advert for that Mountain Dew Blast thing. So I think, for me, Jade is going to burn very bright. Very bright. She looks like a star, doesn't she? She really does. She looks like $1 billion. I suppose the question's going to be, how much are we going to get out of her for however long she's around? You know, she could be around 8 years. Maybe she gets to 40 and then decides to wrap it up. I think I might be leaning Tiffany. Might be leaning Tiffany because of her age. You know, she's younger. She's already over. I mean, she's already got the attention of the... And she's over at the age of 24. Jade's over, but we haven't seen her wrestle yet. You know, is some of that enthusiasm going to dampen down if her matches aren't that great, you know? What about when she wrestles and it's not brilliant? Whereas we've seen Tiffany wrestle. We know what she's like. We know that she's got that moonsault, the prettiest moonsault. I think I'd be leaning Tiffany. But I do think that Jade is going to burn real bright. Real bright. She looks like $1 million, man. She really, really does. So jacked and athletic. And I think both can absolutely main event WrestleMania. Right now, I feel more confident that Jade will. But then when you remind yourself that Tiffany Stratton's only like 24 and she's got so long in the business left to go, and she's already getting the attention of the fans, then you sort of go, damn, she really could be like a Becky Lynch. She really could do like a bit of a Becky, where, you know, she is someone that comes in onto the main roster and works hard, and she's maybe not the biggest girl, she's maybe not the most jacked girl, you know, she's not Chyna, she's not Bianca, she's not Jade, but she's got that connection with the fans, and you know, she just gets over, and she's getting over. So it's a great question. I think both are going to have success, but I think that Tiffany's going to have longer. Question: what do you think Jade will make her decision on what brand she goes to? Where will she make her in-ring debut? Well, I think she'll be at WrestleMania. I think she is stepping up to the Kabuki Warriors. I think that I think we could be looking at a 6-person tag, because we know that Naomi and Bianca were shown, you know, looking at feeling sorry for Bayley. So Naomi and Bianca, Naomi felt sorry for Bayley, Bianca didn't, but clearly she's involved, otherwise why bother showing her? And we've already seen Jade confront Damage Control. So Jade, Naomi, Bianca taking on Kabuki Warriors and Dakota Kai in like a 6-person, leaving Bayley and Io as a separate match, that would definitely feel like the way forwards, or certainly a way forward. So yeah, I'm thinking WrestleMania is when we could first see her. And will she be a future world champion? Definitely. Yeah, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Carl said, is Dreadmare teaser fake? Dreadmare's fan channel, but it's a fan channel. We've spoke about it quite a few times. WWE actually got in touch with them. Rob Fee got in touch with them to say, can you take Bo's links off the thing? And can you also like let people know you're a fan channel? I don't want people getting confused about what you're creating to what we're creating. And I haven't been on the channel, to be honest, since all of that happened. I haven't been on the channel. But so I don't know if they took the links down. I'm guessing they did. Then I was aware they put up a new video, which I haven't watched. I don't care. I don't care. I mean, like, for me, honestly, they can keep doing what they're doing. This is just my opinion. They can keep doing what they're doing because they are very talented. I just think, let people know that you are not Bo, and let people know that you are not Bray. If you want to take what Bray's story is and you want to explain, well, this is what I would do with it. The crazy thing is that would get views. It doesn't make any sense to me, that channel. It doesn't make any sense because it would get views. All he's got to do is say, here's what I would do. And then still do your amazing editing. Still do like all the amazing storytelling bits, right? And fan ideas and all this sort of stuff. And, you know, people love that Bray story. They love Wyndham and the Wyatt story and the Funhouse and all of that stuff. People still in 2024 want to have that conversation. They want to talk about that stuff. And there's not loads of places that you can go and talk about that stuff now because obviously it's in the past, really. There's like a few fan clubs and whatever you can join where I'm sure you can have conversations, but I'm not aware of like channels that are putting out like fan theory or fan fantasy booking for like Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy and all of that stuff. I'm not aware of like channels that are doing that. So like the Dreadmare channel could absolutely do that, wouldn't they? They could do that and it would get views, which is mental. It's mental. But they decided to not go down that road. Instead, they went down a road where they were trying to fool people into thinking that it was Bo Dallas's channel and it was a Bray Wyatt's channel or whatever. I don't understand why they chose to do that, to be honest. But it ended up in Rob Fee having a word with them. And then I saw that the person came out and did a whole spiel about, well, I'm done. I've been on YouTube 12 years. Like, thanks to everyone that supported me. I might see you down the road and this lengthy blah, blah, blah. And then I heard like a few days later, they put another video up. So... So I don't know what they're doing. It's you know, whatever. But it takes 18 to 20 months for maternity leave, said Tom, because the mother wants to spend time with their kids and look after them. Carl said, thanks, I missed all of that before. No problem. Alex said, Candice turned a face last night. She was too light last night, said Alex. Candice turned face last night. I think she turned heel last night. I think she'd been sort of heel in the background for a little while, to be honest. Botched eye surgery said, I have to build the cot today and new baby. Wish me luck. Botched eye surgery, good luck. I didn't realise you'd had a baby, but that's good news. Shout out to you, my friends. Alan said, who would you say is the best for the future in regards to what? In regards to what, buds? If we're talking like superstar, I mean, I was singing Trick's praises just yesterday. Yeah, Trick Williams for me. Honestly, could be the next John Cena. I mean, for me, he is someone that can talk. I said before, he's got everything in him. Can he cut promos? Yes. Has he got a great look? Yes. He's tall. He's jacked. You know, he looks amazing. Is he someone that the crowd have taken to? 100%, man. Whoop, that trick is, you know, and his music's so good. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. It's so good. Honestly, so good. So he can wrestle, he can talk, he's got the look, he's got everything. So I'm really excited for him. Obviously, people love Bron Breakker as well. I think Tiffany's got a bright future. Jade's got a bright future. Lyra's got a bright future. Roxanne's got a bright future. Cora Jade, when we can get her back, I've no doubt will have a bright future. There's some really great talent. Really great talent. NXT is worth watching at the moment. It really is. It really is. James said there's a lot of hypocrites on Twitter that are hating on Candice for her dead brother line, but at the same time, they loved Christian doing the dead father stuff. Well, my thoughts on that, not that anyone asked, my thoughts on that are that they're both fine because, you know, backstage they ask permission. So for me, like, you're not going to just come out with that line. Backstage, they're going to have asked. And so, you know, Maxine would have said, yep. You know, my brother would have loved to have been part of a storyline or would have loved to have built up sympathy for me, you know, or, you know, would have loved to have been spoke about on the show or whatever. And so I've no doubt that it was run past her first. Like, no doubt that Nick Wayne was asked if they could do reference his dad and all of that stuff, you know. So for me, there's no issue. Is it pretty low? Is it quite dark? Is it quite, you know what I mean? A bit of a sucker punch. Like, yeah, but it's meant to be. It's, I mean, if anything, you could say it's maybe a bit overdone. I mean, we've only just had all the Christian stuff, and now, like, we've got this line. I know they're two separate companies, but I don't know. I feel like this should be done, like, once, and it should be to shock, and it really should be, like... people should be losing their minds over that sort of a line. It probably should spark a debate as to whether, should we be doing that? Has it gone too far? For me, it's absolutely fine. But I think it should result in people being concerned because, you know, that's what it's meant to do. So, yeah, but for me, because of the Christian stuff, now's probably not a good time to be doing it. Because if you've been watching the Christian stuff anyway, then I can't imagine that the Maxine line, really, I can't imagine it bothered people if you watched the Christian stuff. Because Christian was doing it about Nick Wayne's dad anyway. So for me, both of them are fine. As long as you get the consent of the person, you know. Mr. B said, don't forget about Sol Ruka. Yeah, she's good. The only thing I would say about Sol is I just want to see what she's like after the injury because she should be fine. But, you know, that was a bad injury. She was out for like 12 months. And she's got that knee brace now. And it's quite a clunky looking knee brace. So I just sort of think like she was great. She's got the right mindset. She's got some, you know, fantastic skills in there. And I've no doubt that you know, that's been dampened or anything. I think she's still going to be where she was. But I think I just want to see. Because to be honest, if she's done the one knee, there might be a chance she does the other. You do see this where if they do one knee, the other, like they seem to be vulnerable. They seem to be susceptible. If you do the one, there's a good chance you may do the other at some point. And so then obviously, you know, that's going to be her out for another 12 months. So I don't know. We'll have to see. She's a great talent. I've just got a concern because of that injury. That's all. But once she's back and she's been back for a while and we can see that her movement is still as good as it was and she's still putting on great matches again, then I'll have a bit more confidence. But that was why I didn't mention her. But yeah, you're still not wrong. I mean, an amazing talent. And that finishing move, what's it called? The Soul Snatcher, where she kind of, I can't even remember what exactly she does, but she sort of like rotates round into a cutter from the corner into a cut. It's amazing. She jumps that way, doesn't she? She's on the corner and she kind of goes down, and as she comes round, so she does like a complete 360, and as she comes back round, she grabs them and drops them down. If you've not seen her finisher, if you've not watched NXT or not seen her, or you're new to wrestling in general, try and check out Sol Ruka's finishing move, because it really is one that you go, I've not seen that before. It's amazing. Yeah. That takes guts, doesn't it, thinking about it? I'm just thinking, if I'm standing in the corner and I have to jump that way, I've got to put my head down and rotate round, and then as I'm coming back up, get into a cutter. Oh my God. Oh, she's incredible. If anyone else calls the Dreadmare people Paramore, I am gonna sue, said Tom. That is my name for them. I don't know how Paramore would feel about that. I like Sol Ruka, another Tiffany that WWE can build up. Alex Bliss Gamer said Tatum Paxley's finisher is amazing. Football King said, how is Ivy Nile on Raw? She is boring. Well, she's pretty jacked and she's very strong. She is small, which might not, I mean, like, it is, when you've got like Raquel, Rhea, you know, Jade Cargill, when you've got some of these Nia Jax bigger women, and you've got like little Ivy Nile in there, like it is a problem, but it's not a problem that can't be overcome. Of course, I'm sure people will be screaming the name Rey Mysterio, for example. And she's no Rey Mysterio, but you know, we know that people that are not as tall can certainly hold their own, and she, I think, has really built up her body. You know, she is maximizing what she's got, basically. She is not the biggest of women, but she is absolutely jacked. So she is very, very strong. So I would say at the moment, we're just kind of going through a phase of getting her used to being on the show. We haven't really done a great deal with her, but it'll be interesting to see how we use her going forwards. It'll be interesting. I mean, honestly, we've never really spoke about it, but you probably could have a weights class, world title weight class for the smaller women, because you do have Candice LeRae, and you do have the likes of Zelina Vega, and you do have the likes of Ivy Nile. And wouldn't it be interesting if you put like the smaller women all on one brand and the bigger women all on another brand, and you had a world title, for heavyweight world title, and then you had a like a, I don't know, a cruiserweight or a light heavyweight world title. So heavyweight and light heavyweight rather than Raw and SmackDown. You could have all the bigger women on the one brand, you could have all the smaller women on another brand. And I feel like this perception that the smaller women are like less than, we just don't see that in sports. It just does not translate to sports. Like, if we are really trying to treat this as like a real sports-based kind of presentation, if we really are trying to like go down that road, I mean, some of the biggest sports stars in history were the smaller sports stars. Like, how big do people think Conor McGregor is? Like, Conor McGregor was a lightweight. He was a featherweight. He was tiny. He was absolutely tiny. He is not a big guy at all. But he has got like pay-per-view records that you wouldn't believe. If you look over at boxing, what division do people think Floyd Mayweather boxed in? You know, Floyd Mayweather was around the middleweight. He was not someone that was a heavyweight. Not even close. Not even remotely close. Same Manny Pacquiao as well. Another of massive names. So, you know, there's all these stars from the past, boxers and UFC fighters, you know, like GSP as well, that are not the biggest people. Yes, your big guys, your heavyweights, they're always going to get attention, but there is money to be made in the smaller, in like smaller people, smaller kind of divisions, if you will. The only problem with WWE is that there's no weight classes. So it means it would be, imagine if you had no weight classes in UFC. There was no weight classes. Like, of course, your bigger guys are going to win the belts and your smaller guys are going to struggle. I mean, it seems like quite obvious what you should do, and that is, we'll give the smaller guys a belt for them to compete for. That's also classed as a world title, you know? And we've spoke about that for the guys, and there does seem to be an appetite for that. Like, whenever we've spoke about it, it always seems that people are like, yeah, I could go with that. I don't know that it's an idea people are like, yeah, that's amazing, we should definitely do that. But I think there is an appetite for it. I think there is an appreciation of kind of where the argument is, you know? But we've never really spoke about that, or we've never spoke about that for the women. And I think, like, maybe you could look at something like that, where you actually have the women. I mean, you don't even need to put them on separate brands. Just do it so that 2 belts across both shows, and you just have, you know, women up to, I don't even know what weight you would go up to, but you set a certain weight, and if they're above that, they can't compete for it. If they're below it, they can. And those that are below that weight, they can also compete for the other one, the heavyweight. They can compete for any belt. It's just if you're over the weight limit, you can't compete for that one. So I would introduce a light heavyweight title that's £200, 205. We used to have 205 live, light heavyweight title for the guys. And if you're 205 or below, you can compete for that. You can still compete for the one that Roman's got, but you can compete for the light heavyweight. If you're over 205, you can only compete for the one that Roman's got. That's what I would look to do. Because I just think that you need a belt for the smaller members of your roster, really. And I would treat that as a world title. And that belt would be main event in shows. It would be a world title. It would be exactly like boxing. It would be exactly like UFC. So, yeah, Ivy, I think, is someone that's really interesting. I think she definitely brings something to the roster. I just don't think we've really got going with her yet. It's hard to judge because we haven't really seen a great deal from her. I will admit, though, I can't say we saw loads from her down in NXT either. I can't say there was loads that we saw. Right, we should be going over to NXT very soon. Oh. Dropped the pen. Should Adonis and Cedric be in the ladder match? No. We've not seen them yet. We haven't got going with them yet. And I think we can find 6 teams that we have got further down the road with. I mean, I can't believe that it's either DIY or Creeds. It's either going to be DIY or the Creeds. I mean, in my mind, both of them would go in. Both would make it. Because I think both absolutely deserve to be in it. But they're going to face each other in the qualifying match. I mean, it'd be hard to not include the New Day and not have them in it. I don't know what you do with the Street Profits. I don't know what you do with the Authors of Pain. I don't know what you do with Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, Pretty Deadly. I don't know what you do with the Awesome Truth. I mean, there's a lot of teams that you can have in there. So Cedric and whatever, we haven't even started with those yet. I'm sure we'll get going with them a little bit more after WrestleMania. Charles said, is there any chance that Dustin shows up at Mania? I wouldn't think so, to be honest. I mean, the only thing, because he's under contract with AEW, the only thing I would say is if they reached out to Tony Khan and said to Tony Khan, could we have him? I really don't know what Tony would say. I don't know what Tony would say, because Tony would be in a very difficult position there, because I think he would say yes, but I want AEW mentioned at WrestleMania. I want them mentioned. I want a graphic. He, in my mind, that's what he would request. WrestleMania, the biggest wrestling show of the year. you can have him. He's under contract. I'll allow it. But this is what I want. And that way, if WWE say, no, we can't do that, it's not really Tony's fault. Because Tony said, well, yeah, he could go. But I just wanted it to be acknowledged that he's an AEW superstar. You know, that's all I was asking for. I don't think that's an unreasonable request. And, I don't know, the ball would be in WWE's court then, wouldn't it? The ball would be in their court as to whether would they be willing to do that. Would they be willing to acknowledge a direct... Right, I know that they acknowledge TNA, but if you look at the ratings, TNA is like half of NXT. Like, TNA is like pretty far away from Raw and SmackDown. And you can make the argument that so is Dynamite, but Dynamite is the number 2. Like, AEW are the number 2 brand. So I don't know that WWE would be as eager to promote them. So I would be saying no. I don't see it happening. But I could see a world where that conversation happens. I could see a world where they say, can we have Dustin, because it would really make the story and it would be so great for the Rhodes family. And you know and I know that if there's one thing, people have a go at Tony. I have a go at Tony, right? But if there's one thing I think we can all agree on, Tony loves wrestling. I've no doubt about that. He loves wrestling. And I think he would not want to stand in the way of ruining that moment for the Rhodes family. I don't think he would want to be guilty of doing that. But equally, he's not going to want to be took for a ride or sort of disrespected, if you will. He's going to want something out of it. Give me something out of it, you know? I don't want to let my guy go over there and do that and then not have anything in return. So, you know, tell them they're an AEW superstar, put a graphic up on screen as they come down. If they did that, if they agreed to that, then there's a chance, man. I think there's a chance. But is anyone having that conversation? Is anyone even going to bother picking up the phone? Or, you know, are they just not even going to do that? They could maybe go through Cody. Cody, of course, could speak to his brother and ask, you know, see if he could facilitate it. You know, I've spoke to WWE. They would love to have Dustin involved, but, you know, is there any way we can do it? So I'm not going to say impossible. I'm not going to say impossible. I'm just going to say unlikely. Yeah. Right, we are underway. We are underway. It is LWO versus OTM. Botched Eye Surgery said it would be cool if we can get some super pay-per-views where WWE, AEW, TNA, New Japan work together and make a great night of it. Puff Dutch said Dijak is underrated. Jeremy said, what team do you think will win the championships? I'm going to go Awesome Truth. I think they've been doing a lot with R-Truth, and he is so over, and I could see it just being a lovely moment for him, to be honest. I feel like he deserves it as well. I mean, now would be the time to say a bit of a thank you. So I think that would be cool if we did that for him. OTM is going to win this, said A. Jobson. PS3 Mason said, do you think Damian Priest will cash in at Mania night 1 or night 2? If it's night 1 and he wins, where does that leave Drew? Damian Priest versus Drew, great show as always. Do I think he's going to cash in at WrestleMania? I certainly think he will try. Will he try night 1? That is interesting. If he tries night 1, then he will be champion, and then that would mean the next day is a triple threat. I expect him to try. Seth's having 2 matches. Of course he's going to try. Is he going to succeed? No. Well, he could succeed on night 1 and then lose it night 2. That's actually really interesting. That's really interesting. To me, he's cold. He does not feel like a world champion. He doesn't feel like someone that's going to carry the brand. He doesn't feel like he's on Seth's level. So at the moment, no. At the moment, I'm not quite seeing it, to be honest. But then, as you just said, if he wins night 1, he could lose it night 2. He could lose it night 2. So that's interesting. That's interesting. Is he going to leave WrestleMania as champion? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. But that doesn't mean that he's had a failed cash-in, because he may win it on night 1, so... That's thought-provoking. Haven't really thought too much about the Money in the Bank. What do you lot think? What do you think is going to happen with Money in the Bank? That's an interesting one. I think there's a few options on the table for that. Conservative said, if I was Tony, if you want Dustin, then okay, I want Roman for a night. Ain't happening. I mean, that would be done, wouldn't it? That would be done. I mean, I think if you was to go with that play, you're basically just saying you can't have Dustin, because there ain't no way. It's just not happening. That is definitely not happening. I'm sitting here thinking they won't even put a graphic up and a mention. I'm sitting here saying they won't do that. There ain't no way they're going to give him Roman Reigns. So, yeah, no. I think if you went with that play, you're basically saying, no, you can't have him. Caparowan said, happy Tatum Tuesday. We're not worthy. Happy Tatum Tuesday. A lot of people love Tatum, don't they? She's proper over, man. People love this little thing she's doing with Lyra. Not everyone, in all fairness, but a lot of the accounts I follow are really into it and really into like what she's doing. Like people seem to really enjoy it. I must admit it's had its moments. But I must admit as well, it's also had its moments that have kind of, what are we doing here? What is this? So, but yeah, she's pretty fun. I tell you, I really want to see her and Kairi Sane, because we had the Kabuki Warriors against Lyra and Tatum last week, and it was a really fun match. But it did leave me wanting to see Kairi go up against Tatum 1-on-1. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think they both had a few moments that were a bit creepy, a little bit unhinged, shall we say? And yeah, I'd definitely be down for seeing more of them too. A. Jobson said, I wonder what is next for Dijak. Maybe he puts over Femi at Stand and Deliver. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the title has got to be in his future. I don't know if we'll do Tony against Dijak. I mean, I feel like a good chance that Tony wins the title. Tony winning the title at Stand and Deliver, I think there is a very good chance of that. And then, I don't know, down the road, do we get Tony versus Dijak? It's weird because for some reason that doesn't feel like a big main event. That feels like there's a bit of star power that's missing for some reason. I think it's because Tony has only just arrived in the main event scene, and Dijak hasn't really been there either. So we're really taking two mid-carders and putting them in the main event scene. Whereas, you know, we've been having like Bron Breakker, Carmelo, Ilya Dragunov. Whereas, yeah, these two would definitely feel like we're still building them, you know. But I like them both. I think both will go on to be a success on the main roster. And Dijak deserves it after the whole T-Bar debacle. You know, thankfully we are quite a few years removed from that now. It's crazy to think that he's still in NXT, isn't it? This dude was like in NXT years and years and years and years and years ago, like having matches with Keith Lee. Like 2018, 2019. Here we are in 2024 and he's still in NXT. I know he went up and came back down again, but that was only because of the debacle that was T-Bar, and then he came back down again. Days of Judgment Day lose the tag titles and Priest cashes in and then doesn't walk out as champion. Do you think Judgment Day could break up? Well, something needs to happen with Judgment Day because they've gone stale for me. Like, we teased that they were going to split Finn and Damian, so I still think that a Finn and Damian feud is coming. We don't know quite what's happening with Andrade at the moment. Yeah, for me, there needs to be a big shift. We need to kick some members out. We need to evolve the group or dissolve the group. I feel like something needs to happen post-WrestleMania. I think for the longest time, we've been waiting for Damian and Finn to like start turning on each other. Last year, we went through a whole phase of trying to figure out what was going on with who was going to turn on who. And there was lots of little looks and all of that stuff, you know? And then we just stopped doing any of that. So, yeah, definitely we need to bring some change to Judgment Day. I can't say it's all clicking and working perfectly at the moment. We're underway with this opening match. We're already 12 minutes into the show. Duck underneath, against the ropes, gets caught, lands on his feet into the corner. I think, is that Price? So it's LWO. Yeah, it is Price. Price and Del Toro. Del Toro with a missile dropkick. Price goes down. And 1, 2, kick out. Price getting his shoulder up. So LWO against OTM. And I believe the winners will go into that triple threat match. Tag being made. In comes Bronco. Bronco in the middle of the ring. Big shot there. Coming in by Del Toro. Bronco in the corner. Del Toro go. Oh, that was lovely. That was great. He just kind of put one foot on that middle turnbuckle and just so easily slipped through the ropes. I'd love to see a replay of that, actually. 1, 2, and save made. Kick coming in. So Wild gets kicked by Price. Del Toro with Inzaguri gets knocked out the ring. And now Bronco trying to pick up Del Toro. So now we've got Wild going against the ropes. Jumps up and down. Wow, he got some height. So he actually used Bronco there. Wild went against the ropes, jumped off Bronco, went up in the air, came crashing down onto Scripps and onto Price. It's very impressive. Very impressive. So some good action in this, some good eye-catching action. I do always worry a bit with LWO because I do find that there's a little bit of like suspending disbelief. Where are they, you know, trying to beat their opponents, or are they trying to do like eye-catching jumps? Like, well, sometimes I'm not too sure what it is they're trying to do. Elbows coming in. They do like showing off. Let's put it that way. Elbows coming in again. Going up over. Bronco gets flipped off that middle rope. Middle rope. Top rope. Lovely splash. 1, 2, 3. LWO pick up the victory. So LWO win the opening match. Certainly had some moments. Let's see what your score was of that. What was your match score? What did you think about it? They're just showing some replays. I'm glad the LWO won, said Dom. LWO wins, says Brony. Okay, so they are the first of 3 teams that's going to be in that tag team championship match on Tuesday, April 2nd. Right, I'm sure we're going to have a few backstage moments here. is Oba Femi. Here's Brooks Jensen. Watch what I do to him tonight. Right? Well, that's going to be for the North American title. So we're looking, it was Roadblock last Tuesday. And this is when Roxanne jumped on the arm of Lyra. So here is Roxanne. So we're going to hear from her next. She's got a big smile on her face, wearing black. Do you think the tag titles will split at Mania? Yeah, I think it's a good chance of it. I think we said in the quick video we did at the time that climb the ladder, 2 teams grab the different titles, and you could absolutely split it that way. It's good. It's a good way to split it, actually. Doesn't really make a great deal of sense to just take titles away from a team that has unified them. We know that Usos and RK Bro unified the titles. Usos unifying them. So to just take them away now would seem a bit strange. So, but actually doing a ladder match where teams grab the 2 different sets and we end up with 2 sets of champions, that would be pretty cool. So yeah, I think they'll get split at Mania. Right, let's go down. Could we see Drew beat Steph Night 2? Celebration start for Drew. Cult of Personality plays, Punk appears, distracting Drew. Damian Priest comes through the crowd, attacks Drew, and cashes in to win. Yeah. I think there's a lot of things that could be on the table. It's difficult because, like, I don't know, Punk costing Drew makes sense. But Damian is still a heel. So he's sort of helping the Judgment Day, which is a bit... Yeah, we could. I mean, look, him costing Drew would be the focus, wouldn't it? That would be the focus. If it means that he ends up helping a heel team, then, well, so be it. His bigger goal is to get some payback on Drew that's been saying some stuff about him. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely an option that's on the table. Oba's reign has lacked, said A. Jobson. He has had one solid defense against Dragon Lee, but the Lexis match was disappointing. I hope the match today delivers. Don said Roxanne looks good. Alan said SmackDown is nothing without Roman and the Bloodline. Raw has the best matches. Well, wow. I mean, we can actually see what the community thinks about that, can't we? Does Raw have the best matches? Let's have a look together. Because we've got the list. Let me open that. So these are the matches. So Raw, NXT Vengeance Day, Raw. There's one SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown. Do have to remember that SmackDown does have an hour less, but I would say that does check out at the moment, yeah, because that's Raw. That's Raw. So if we look at just the great, we'll look at greats. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we've got 12 Raw matches in the great segment. How many SmackDown matches? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Now, granted, there is an extra hour, but even taking that into consideration, I think Raw is ahead of SmackDown. NXT has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. SmackDown's got 5. NXT, sorry, has got 5. So NXT with 5, SmackDown with 6, and Raw with 12, I think we said. So, yeah, I would say that Raw does have the better matches according to the data. Right, we're backstage with Chase U. So Thea said, me and JC don't need to be together at all times. Okay, so Thea said she's got other friends. Fallon. Is it Fallon? Kalani? No JC, no problem. Thea and Kalani join forces. Okay, Roxanne Perez then. Let's see what she's going to do on the mic. Last week's what happens when you get sick and tired about trying to play by the rules. This isn't something that just happened overnight. She collapsed in the ring. Of course, I collapsed after carrying this women's division after months. How was I rewarded? My title was taken from me. And no one cared. This is excellent. Her delivery is really good, and she's really into it as well. Very comfortable. Me and Becky, face to face. And you acted like I didn't exist. I went home crying that night. Why are all these wrestlers crying? Why is everyone crying? Who she thinks she is? Cody Rhodes. I don't care about anyone's stupid opinions. But I think Kenny is mad to not having a response to his Punk statement. Okay, so now she's talking about Lyra Valkyria. I'm sorry that Latina dancing idiot ruined our match. Do you know what she did? She went after the tag titles. Now everyone wants to cheer me. It's very good. She's been talking to Cora, says Al. Naive. You lot remind me of young Roxanne Perez, naive and confused. No, I think we've been pretty clear, actually. This is what we wanted. I would have to disagree. I think we've been asking for this for a while. That pain that you're feeling, it's not the pain from your arm. That's the pain of your title being ripped away. Okay. Another year so far for Roman as champ, says Matthew. So Roxanne says, Ava, you should come out and give that women's championship to the woman that deserves it. And that, of course, is me. Ava is coming out. God, this is so different. Do you remember when she was the girl in red, the red hoodie? Do you remember that? And we were like, who's the girl in the red hoodie? And then it was revealed to be Ava, and she joined Schism. Roxanne, I wasn't finished talking. Please don't interrupt again. Could you imagine if Ava says, do you think that you deserve to be the new women's champion? And Roxanne goes, and before she speaks, she goes, it doesn't matter what you think. That would be awesome. Right, through the crowd, Tatum Paxley. Tatum tries to get to Roxanne. Let them fight. Let them fight. Let them fight. Yeah, she was good. It was a little long. I'm surprised she got as much time as they gave her. But no, you can't really have complaints about that, to be honest. It's what I want to see from her. It really is. I think that she is so much more interesting as a heel. So yeah, lovely. Right, here's Lexis King. He's taking on Mr. Stone. Was not too keen on this matchup, if I'm going to be honest, but we'll see how it goes. Ava looks like she's ready for Pottery Clan. Right, Lexis King getting into the ring. And we're about to go to commercial break. Lexis King versus Mr. Stone. Let's turn that down. Right, I feel like heel Roxanne is great if she stays in NXT longer, but if she gets called up soon, it might be an unnecessary risk. She's a great babyface. The main roster has too many heels. Mitchell said, I actually got to watch the Arsenal shootout. Good Mike Skills said, Matthew. Pillman Jr. against Robbie E, says Jim. Hello, shout out to you. Puff Dutch said, Roxanne in ring is bad. Her finisher is weak. I think her... What, the pop rocks? You don't like the pop rocks? I think she's not bad in the ring at all. That's interesting, if you don't really rate her in ring. Dave's question, again, Cody's first feud will be against after he beats Roman. Well, it would feel like we're building towards him and The Rock, wouldn't it? I would imagine the word on the street is The Rock's looking to have a couple of matches this year, and I've got to think we're not going to be doing him and Roman this year. So that would sort of suggest to me that he's going to try and get that belt back off Cody. If that is what we're doing, that would then also suggest that maybe Rock isn't going to turn on Roman at WrestleMania, because he is going to try and get that belt back. Because I don't think we're going to do face versus face. I don't think we would do that. I would imagine we'll keep The Rock heel. And then when he fails, that's when we can start to, break them down. So I would love to see Roxy against Cora Jade, said Al. A. Jobson said, Lexis King to me needs better feuds. Outside of that mini mellow feuds, Lexis has just been fighting the new guys on the roster. He did fight Oba, but that felt rushed. Weak finisher. It's not convincing, says Puff Dutch. I would love to see Roxy Cora Jade take another run at the tag titles. Them both as heels could be interesting, yeah? Could be interesting. With them coming together as like a heel tag team. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. It's just her finisher. Do you think Jimmy is going to accept Jay's challenge? Yes. William, hello. Hope you are well. EM said, whoop that trick. Matt says, Daze, after Cody has won the belt, how confident are you that a post-Mania story will be equally as compelling? And could Keith Chegwin be involved? Well, I don't expect Keith Chegwin to be involved. But how do I feel? Do I think that it could be as compelling? I do, because if it's going to be The Rock, then it's going to be more of this. It's one thing for Cody to win that title, but then if you've got The Rock as like a board of directors of TKO, basically saying, I am going to do everything in my power to get that belt off you now. There is no way we want you to be the face of this company. And I assure you, you will not leave Saudi Arabia with that belt, or you will not leave SummerSlam with that belt. I promise you. You might have finished your story, but your story finishes. Like, your career now finishes. Like, I think that you can really get some stuff out of that. Really get some stuff out of that. So, yeah, I think that it can be as compelling. Going into a feud with The Rock. It's The Rock, Right, we've got Luca, Riz, Stax, Tony. Everyone's real proud of you. It feels good to call my shot, says Tony. I do like this presentation. It's very good, isn't it? Our boy Trick Willie, what a guy, says Stacks. Who's this? Elia. Oof. The moody KFC Colonel has arrived. So he sits down. Everyone leaves. Damn, he's cool. Congratulations, Tony. Oh, he's really cool, isn't he? You have your finger in many pies. You have everything. But this title is everything I have. Oh, it's good, man. No matter what you do at Stand and Deliver, this stays with me. The Don likes you. Stacks. Stacks and Luca grab Elia. So Tony said, look, whatever's about to happen, I just want you to know the Don likes you. Luca and Stacks grab Elia. Drag him away. Put him in the boot. I don't think it's great to put the NXT champion in the boot. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's great that the NXT champion was outmaneuvered like that. I think I would really like it if Elia... Has Lexis King been in the ring all this time? Jesus! Yeah, I don't think that's a good look for him to just get shoved into the boot like that. That's the NXT champion who's just been, like, blindsided. He's just walked into a trap. He's just been dragged away and put into the boot. I feel like you can get away with that if that was Joe Gacy. But I wouldn't be doing that with the NXT champion. The only thing that would be really good for me is if Elia wanted that to happen and actually they think they've got him, but it turns out he's got them because he went there knowing this would happen. He wanted this to happen and he's got a trap that he's going to spring himself, you know. I don't know what that would be or how that would look, but that would be fun. But yeah, for him to turn up, sit down, and for him to walk into their restaurant and, like, on his own and not think that something was going to happen. Not, like, seems a bit naive, that, to me. Seems a bit naive. I think it works for the Don's character, but it doesn't really work for Elia. So, we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out. One way to fix it is if we cut to them later and we see Tony's boys laid out. Yeah, that could be good. That could be good. That could be good. as you said, it's not a major issue. It's not like it's ruined the show or anything like this. It's just strange. I just find it strange. You can sort of see from the angle of why you would do it for Tony, because it fits Tony's like remit. It works for them characters. It's just a weird way to present your champion. You'd think your champion would have a bit more know-how, a bit more about him. So yeah, you're right. If we cut back and Ilya is doing this, Stax is down, Luca's down, Tony's Tony's looking around, or maybe Tony's up against the tree, just out like, oh god. Stax is down, Luke's down, and the Riz is like, and maybe Ilya gets in the car, drives away, leaves them all there. Strikes coming in by Mr. Stone. We are underway. Lexis King taking on Mr. Stone. Has this match begun? It has. It has. Lexis King in control. Mr. Stone goes into the corner, down to his knees, and Lexis King puts Mr. Stone in the corner. Big chop coming in there by Lexis King. Lexis King is going up top. Riz could take Dragunov, said Jim. Mr. Stone is coming down onto Lexis. Lexis kicks out. Lexis getting up to his feet. He backs up into the corner. Super kick coming in there by Lexis King. Lexis King has got Mr. Stone down on his knees. Just sort of collided into him, really. I like that. I like the cross arms that he's got. Well, there we go. He beats him, and there wasn't really a great deal to it. It's a win for Lexis King. So he's continuing the beatdown. Is that going to bring out Von? Von makes his way down to the ring. So Mr. Stone is getting carried to the back by Von. We're going to hear from Trick Williams tonight as well, apparently. Right, get in your scores for match number 2. Oh, yeah, impulsive. SummerSlam's in Cleveland. Okay, there we go. Oh, well, I'm glad I didn't watch that. Oh, well, there we go. So, SummerSlam is going to be in Cleveland. That is where Logan's from, and I still don't think he's going to get a great reaction, to be honest. I'm sure we've been in... kidnapping a Russian is not the smartest move, said Jet. That is a very good point. That is a very good point. I like that Lexus came in as a chaos causer, a locker room disruptor, but for months Lexus has just been a douchebag. I really want more character development, says A. Jobson. Dijak steps up to Femi. Once you finish playing around, we'll see what it takes for you to finish being playing around being champion. Well, if they're going to be facing at Stand and Deliver, it'll be an excellent match. I would imagine Femi getting the win there. I see Dijak going after I think that'd be very disappointing if he... I can't see Dijak winning that North American title. Surely, although saying that is his future, perhaps you put it on him for a little bit until he's ready. Because for me, Dijak now is world title. Well, NXT world title, you know. His top of the card is... I wouldn't have him going after the mid card. Right, Obafemi making his way down. Brony said, Dijak Obafemi at Stand and Deliver. That match would bang. Eric said, oh, it's gone. That match would bring in ratings for NXT, says Joe. Chad Gable should be in the IC title match. It should be a triple threat, says Angel. Even Logan's YouTube channel just got sick TV time, says Intoxicated Drums. A. Jobson said, WWE are doing great business. It sucks that Vince McMahon's awful discretion's still a dark cloud that WWE can't escape from. If people are still out there that was involved, get them out. Alex said he'll get a good reaction. They love their own in Cleveland. I don't know that that's true, because I'm pretty sure that one of the Paul brothers fought in Cleveland and they were getting booed. So it may be different in WWE. It may be different because obviously WWE is a younger audience. But I distinctly remember covering a fight, I think it was a Jake Paul fight in Cleveland, and it being very surprising because they were getting booed in their own state. And that was a big talking point. So that's what makes me think that they could still be booed, is that in boxing that has happened. But you are correct in that WWE has got a very different demographic. So, you know, there'll be a lot of kids there, a lot of youth there, and I think they tend to gravitate more towards Logan Paul. Mitchell said, is Oba just supposed to be Baku from Black Panther? It's kind of all I see with his presentation. I cannot answer that because I have never seen that film. But for those that have, they will be able to answer it. Daze, regarding the Prime sponsorship, would you have accepted it if it was on the barricades and ring instead of the mat? 100%. No problem with that. We've been putting adverts on the barricades, and I haven't really moaned about it. I can deal with that. It looks a little strange during matches, like that it doesn't say WrestleMania or whatever. It's got, I don't know, Fruity Pebbles or whatever it is. But it's not a hardship. But the mat, it to me is sacred. The mat it's always been kept clean in WWE. This is one that people have got divided opinions on. And I'm quite surprised, actually. I really thought this, I've said it before, I thought this would be something that fans would be united against. But it just doesn't seem to quite be that way. I'd say there's more people against it than for it. But there are people... I don't know that there's loads for it. I think there's people against it, and then there's people that are not bothered. I think those are the two camps. I don't know that there's anyone... I don't think there's anyone that can make the claim this is making wrestling better. So for me, you know, I have had people in the comments going, oh, you just don't like change. And it's like, no, you're talking rubbish. Everything changes all the time. Like, there's so much stuff changes all the time. Very little stays the same. Change is not a problem, but the question is it change for the better? Is it better? Is it making it better? And having a nice clean ring where there's nothing there to distract, there's just nothing on it, it's nice and clean, and then compared to putting a massive Prime bottle in the center of it, that doesn't make wrestling better. It makes WWE more money. But I would say, you know, let's draw the line somewhere. Like, even Vince didn't do it. Vince is the most money-mad person in the world, and even he didn't go that far. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of it at all. Maybe part of it is that the logo just is so trash. Just this Prime bottle with colours on it. Maybe if it was just the word Prime in black, that might be a bit easier to take as well. That would be a bit easier to take. It's not even so much that it's Logan and all that stuff. It's not even so much about that. I don't like it in general, but I really don't like the Prime bottle and the colours and all that stuff. If it was just the Prime word in black, even that would be more palatable. Even that would be more acceptable. So, yeah, I kind of feel like I've had my say on it. There's people that are really against it, and then there's people that don't care. And I'm trying to get more into the don't care category, to be honest. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get into that camp. It is a struggle. But it's happening. That's what I think. That's how I look at it. It's happening. Right, you can see that Brooks Jensen has made his way down, and he's kind of embracing that retro vibe. He's starting to look really good, isn't he? I really like his ring gear. I like his ring gear. I like his entrance attire. Okay, so I think we've got an Oba chant, have we? Oba trying to drive Brooks Jensen back. Brooks Jensen standing his ground in the center. Oh, man, he could so be in flipping Iron Claw, couldn't he? Look at him. Proper throwback. Absolutely love it. Love the hair. Love the clean. Do you know how many times have we said about like uncluttered, clean wrestling gear? And his is like white, but it's got a little blue down the side, just a strip down the side. That's also in his like the same color as his kind of. I don't know. Is that his knee pads? Can't quite see what they are. But it looks so clean and it looks so crisp and it looks quite eye-catching. It pops. I love his ring gear. I love it. It's very simple, but you could draw it. And I've said that before. Like if you got like some trunks and you was to draw Macho Mans, you could do it. If you had to draw CM Punks, you could do it. Sometimes, though, they're so cluttered with, like, text and patterns and all this kind of stuff, like... And they change it all the time as well, like... I love ring gear that's kind of kept the same. I know they try and change it now so they can have a different figure and, you know, different merch, different shirts and all that kind of stuff, but... I don't know, I really think with ring gear, like, keeping it simple is sometimes the most impactful. I really like the Brooks Jensen ring gear here. He's going up top. Perched. He tries to come down, but he gets hit in the midsection. Double axe handle here by Oba Femi. Oba Femi's going to win this, of course, but can Brooks Jensen at least look good in this match? Wrestle Andy said, who wins the Andre Battle Royal? Maybe it's Chad or Bron. That's going to be tricky, isn't it? I mean, there's going to be some massive names in that. You might end up with Carrion, Bobby, Bronson, Reed. You know, I mean, there could be some really big names in there. So, Bron definitely has got an opportunity. It'd be a great way to have him, like, stand out. I think Bron's definitely got a shout. If it was if you got a title opportunity, the winner gets a shot at, say, the Intercontinental or something. Then I think, you know, you'd go, right, it's Chad in it. Chad would make sense because then he could come out on Raw and say, look, I won the Andre Battle Royal. I deserve another opportunity. It would give him maybe a bit of a reason for, you know, coming out and saying, I deserve a shot. Right, we've gone to commercial break. It's a good question, that is. It's a good question. Daze, Matt Hardy's AEW contract is rumoured to have ended. Do you think he comes back to WWE? Well, he could do. I mean, I'm not keen to see him back. Part of it might be how he's used, of course, in AEW, but I don't know. I don't feel like we need him. I feel like the roster's pretty stacked anyway. But then you go, well, do you know what? It's the Hardys. You know, it's the Hardys. Like, you probably should put them under some sort of Legends deal at the very least. I kind of feel like having them around would not be a bad thing. But what do you do with them? I don't know what you do with them. I mean, it's got to be getting towards the end of their run. I mean, do you just bring them in for a 1-year deal? I don't even know when you can get Jeff, to be honest. But I don't know. I think if I was to sit down with them and talk to them, if I was in that position, I'd be like, look, I really don't know how to use you guys at the moment because everywhere is stacked. The roster is stacked, but you are legends. You are absolute legends. I think we could maybe do something where we build up to their retirement match and we give them a good send-off at WrestleMania. So we could maybe do something like that and then put them onto a Legends deal. Or I could speak to Matt. I suppose I could speak to Matt and go, look, we don't have Bray, but your deletion matches were very popular. Can we do something with like the deletion matches? Is there anything? I don't think we need woken Matt Hardy or whatever, broken Matt Hardy. I don't think we need that persona per se. I'm not sure in 2024 if that's going to quite land. I don't know how that character has aged. I don't know that the audience is going to be that like keen on that character now in this day and age. But no, this is kind of thing that you'd be like, oh, could I get something out of him as a singles guy? I mean, really, outside of that. He could advise a tag team, I suppose. Could you put him in a managerial role? But then have we got a team that's like the Hardys? I don't think we do. You know, if there was a team that we had that was like 2 daredevils, risk takers, I suppose the MSK, you know? When we had MSK, you might look at them and go, I could see them getting advice from Matt Hardy. But we don't, do we? I mean, I don't know when Wesley's meant to come back, actually. I'd completely forgot about Wesley. Completely forgot about him. So I'm not sure when Wesley's returning. But we don't have MSK anymore. I don't think we really have that kind of a team anymore. Unless have we got a team that we can have Matt Hardy as the manager of. Perhaps there's a couple of lads we can put together in NXT and make Matt Hardy the manager. But then does Matt Hardy want to be a manager? It's very difficult because I can't really sit here and say, yeah, you bring him in and we'll have to do a singles run with him and all this. I just don't really have the appetite for that. I'd much rather use the TV time for the likes of Bron Breakker, Ilya Dragunov, Gunther, Sammy, Chads. I'd much rather give them the TV time than Matt Hardy having like a singles run. But then it's, you know, you got to pay respect to your legends, and he is a legend. So I would find something for him. I would find something. Be it managing an NXT team, be it working towards a retirement match, be it potentially looking at a deletion match or, you know, doing something along those lines. Maybe just doing it as a little storyline. You know, like how we brought Trish in to just do a little thing and she worked with Zoe and she was around like 6 months, something like that. Do you do something like that with Matt Hardy? Find the right sort of story to tell? See, that's an interesting one. It's a very interesting one. Matt, as a producer, would be great, said James. Yeah. Could put him in that role. Yeah. Briggs is backstage. He's watching on as Femi is putting Brooks Jensen into like backbreakers, but right now Brooks Jensen's in the corner. Femi charging over. I love the selling of Brooks Jensen. Brooks Jensen goes down. Obafemi grabbing the neck, grabbing the chin of Brooks Jensen. Now here comes Briggs. Josh Briggs has made his way out. Brooks trying to get back up to his feet, and he does, and he drives Obafemi back into the corner. Brooks Jensen trying to dig deep here as Obafemi throws in some shots to the back. He grabs him by the hair. Against the ropes. Collides into Brooks Jensen. Again into the corner. Back elbow there by Brooks Jensen. Slap coming in and another slap coming in. Driving Obafemi back. Kick coming in there by Brooks Jensen. Obafemi goes over by the ropes. Brooks Jensen reverse. Shoulder tackle. Obafemi goes down. Drop kick there by Brooks Jensen. I tell you, they're giving Brooks Jensen a... Whoa! Big slam! 1, 2... He's causing Obafemi a few problems here. Oh, he gets caught. Big back body drop. There was just a little flurry of activity there for Brooks Jensen. But Obafemi back in control. He's looking over at Josh Briggs. Jensen down on his knees as Obafemi grabs him. He's going to look to pick him up. He's got him up on his shoulder. Hurls Brooks Jensen into the corner. Oba again picks up Brooks Jensen, slams him down. Obafemi has got a massive smile on his face. He's looking over at Josh Briggs. And he is very much in control of this match now. Feels like we're setting up Josh Briggs against Obafemi. Brooks is down. Oba. Brooks up. Oh, he just chucks him, man, doesn't he? He like picks him up and just hurls him. So Brooks is down. Oba standing over him. Put Matt with a Nofi and Blade, said James. Well, that'd be worth a go, wouldn't it? I don't know that they're like daredevils, but could you kind of push them a little bit more in that direction, maybe? It's not a bad shout, that. Because they are a team that's lacking something. And actually, you could probably get some humor out of them, maybe being a bit nervous to... You know, Matt being like, you know, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. And then be like, you want us to jump off the ladder? Yeah, because when I think of Daredevil, I don't quite think of them. But there is definitely something missing for them. And he could, like, maybe push them into that direction a bit more. Oba has just destroyed Brooks Jensen. Unfortunately, it's hard to... I mean, you can score the match, of course, but... I feel like this match didn't really have a purpose. Its purpose wasn't to get a 5-star match. Its purpose was to really set up Josh Briggs and Obafemi down the road. So the final part of this match was literally just Brooks Jensen getting absolutely battered. Right, now he's just... we're just seeing a replay as he's absolutely destroyed Brooks Jensen. Brooks Jensen is down in the ring and Briggs is staring at Obafemi. Obafemi holding up that North American Championship. Okay, here we are. We're at a bridge. Oh, there's Ilya. Riz gives the championship to Ilya. Ilya walks over to Tony. You can't walk into my restaurant uninvited, unannounced. You're the Mad Dragon. Look at where you are. They're on a bridge. I could end everything with the snap of my fingers. You haven't got this kind of power? You have a nice walk back. Tony walks away. Ilya says he always finds a way. Oh man, this would have been a great moment for him to show that there was a... Oh, is he going to throw the title? That would be sick. Get rid of it, it's trash. That would be... He just looked at... He was on the bridge and he looked at the belt. And in my mind, I was like, throw it, throw it. It's got different flipping colours all over it from the NXT 2.0 era. Get rid of it. You could have something like really beautiful golds. Amazing. Bit of silver in there as well. We could like, oh, we could have all the metals. Zinc, copper, bronze. Shh, chuck it. Chuck it and go, oh, I don't know. Just, I think Tony took it. Oh, God. Oh, we'll have to use a replica for now. No, how about we just get a new one designed? I'll come out. I'll get some designs this weekend. Yeah, I know a belt guy anyway. It's fine. Yeah, leave it with me. I'll have something good for next week. It's fine. Yeah, it is disappointing that he chucked it in the river, isn't it? Yeah. Right. Daze, the crowd was chanting Yimbambi, so his character is definitely Black Panther based. Sandy said, now look at what you've done. You've gone and peed him off, said Sandy. IWC will hate the Tony Elia segment, but I'm having fun, says A. Jobson. Little JB said Elia can call an Uber. In a random person's home, he just burst in, went to the shower. It's time they bring in a new belt, you're right, said Intoxicated Drums. We do need new NXT title designs. Well, it's left over, innit? It's just left over from before. So, I get why they did it for 2.0 when it had all the colours on it, but I've said it before, if you look at a picture of Elia with that belt, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't look right. For me, like, it needs to be something real that belt worked for 2.0, but you can have something so much classier. Something really nice. But they changed all the belts when 2.0 happened, and they're probably thinking, oh, we don't have to do it all again. Because when you change a belt, you've got all the replicas that you've got to then create, and you've got to sell all the old stock off and all that kind of stuff. Like, I could imagine there's a cost involved. It's not as simple as, well, I mean, like, getting a belt designed and made for starters is going to cost a bit. Nothing for them, of course. But still, you know, it's a conversation that needs to be had. The money's got to come from somewhere. And then, but then you've got to make all the replicas and everything as well, haven't you? Sell off all the other stock, get the new stuff out, and oh god. So you can understand why they're not desperate to do it. It's not, oh god, no, we'll do it next week. Right, where are we? We've got 50 odd minutes to go. Let's end the poll, shall we, for that last match. The IC title would look good on Elia. Yeah, man. The IC title would look good on Elia. Good, okay. Great 19. All-time 8. Okay, we are at commercial break at the moment. We're just waiting to go back to the action. As there we go. Daze, will you be streaming Hall of Fame? Yeah, we do that every year. Yeah, we definitely will be doing Hall of Fame, and we will be doing, of course, Stand and Deliver. We'll be doing both nights of WrestleMania. I mean, might as well just run a 48-hour stream. Right, Ariana Grace is coming out. Ariana Grace. Well, she's got a big smile on her face. I love this. I love that. That looks great. Look how it flows as well. That cape looks brilliant. Okay, well, she's come out, and Gigi is in the ring. Daze, Stand and Deliver on the same day as WrestleMania Night 1. Yes. Are you streaming the Euros? No plans to do the Euros, unfortunately. We've said we're trying to really dial into wrestling, and like the Euros, I mean, that's going to be every day for hours. It's going to get in the way of unseen videos. It'll get in the way of opinion videos. We'll still be able to do streams, but yeah, it would just be... In fact, I don't think we'd be able to do unseen videos if we were to do those streams. Because by the time I've done the football streams, done the wrestling streams, then trying to do the research and record and get them uploaded and do the timestamps and everything, and then try and get to sleep so I can get back up, because the next day there's another 3 games. I mean, there tends to not just be a game a day, is there? There's like 2-3 games a day. So trying to do those, and trying to do unseen, and trying to do opinion videos, and trying to do rest, it ain't happening. But a big lesson I've learned in recent years is that if you are kind of doing YouTube, like really dial into one thing, you can't really be doing lots of different stuff. Kick coming in there by Ariana Grace. And again. Could just do the England games. That maybe. There's maybe potential to do the England games, but I'm really focused on like doing the wrestling. As I said, like it's a big lesson learned in recent years. Nice suplex and elbow drop by Ariana Grace. Mitchell said USA is going to win the Euros. Big Time said tomorrow is the night Mercedes Moné makes her longer-awaited AEW debut. James said we're still waiting on new tag titles, so there's no chance we get a new NXT title. That is very true. That is very true. Into the corner goes... I wonder if we will once they've separated them, and I wonder then if they'll come up with something new. GG coming over, and Ariana Grace backslide here. She's trying to get over to the ropes, and she gets her foot on the rope. Anthony Joshua on his Instagram has posted different angles of the times that he dropped Ngannou. I must say, some of the punches didn't even hit, and he was still dropped. What does that mean? Are we saying that, is that a conspiracy thing? stream just momentarily started. I do get problems on the network when I'm trying to watch NXT. So much better when it was on TV. On the network, I just get these moments, not loads, but just the occasional bit where it just stops. And I have to, like, refresh the page. Kick coming in there by GG. Nice. Ariana Grace goes down. 1, 2. Kick out. GG needs the push. Why are they hating on her? Make her a heel again, said A. Jobson. Intoxicated Drum said, I made a beat with Gig's promo. It came out really good. GG looks like what you get if Seth and Becky's characters had a kid. She's got a tiara. Ariana Grace goes over. She's putting the tiara on GG's head. Ariana Grace and the ref are faffing around with the tiara. Was that a low blow? How do you do a low blow? And now GG does a low blow. What's going on? All these lady low blows. That's not going to hurt. Oh, they both... Oh, my God. They both got sore vaginas. Look at Ariana Grace's sore vagina face. Look, she's like... Still doubled over in pain. Thank you. Wow. Amazing. Solruka and Carmen Petrovic. Well, that's got to be the greatest match we've ever seen, isn't it? Here is Lola Vice. Karate Girl. You can't handle this Latina heat in the cage or the ring. I'm a master. Your skills are no match. Here's Brynlee Reese. Here's Anofi and Blade. They've come to drag Brynlee away. Right, here's Kiana. Oh my God, it's all happening. Okay, Kiana then is making her way out. That was a kill in the movement, or have a good ending. Oh, it's a tag team match. Izzy and Kiana. Who are they taking on? I haven't heard about this match. This is the Thea and the Kalani match. Okay, lovely. The real chick kick. That was the greatest ending to a match ever. I agree. I wish every match ended that way. Could you imagine if that's how Roman and Cody finishes at WrestleMania 40? Double disqualification and both of them just grabbing their junk in pain. It would be the greatest WrestleMania ever. There we go. Lovely. We got 40 minutes to go. We've still got to hear from Trick. And I can't remember what else we've got lined up, to be honest. But we've still got to hear from Trick. I know that much. Daze, are you enjoying the NXT streams? Yeah. I would say that 2024 have been a bit more of a struggle. I remember when we first came back to them, really was enjoying them when, like, Heat Wave, I remember, and it's been some really good stuff, and I have really enjoyed NXT. And at the end of last year, NXT was cooking, man. I mean, we were getting, like, Becky as champ, Undertaker on the show, Cody made an appearance. Obviously, you know, we've been doing some really good stuff with Ilya. He's been having some great matches. And Lyra and Becky. Obviously, Sol Ruka. Kalani Jordan arriving. Like, there's been loads of, like, really good stuff with NXT, but you know that I'm not just saying it when I say that I really don't think this year has been all that great. And you can tell that from the scores on the community scores. You know, every show we rate, and if you look at the show scores, which were in the opinion video that went up, I know it was late, but I managed to get it up just before the Wrestling Escape Pods. But in there, I've got all the match scores. I've got the show scores for the year so far. And you can just see there's just like all these NXT shows right at the bottom. They are... I think that NXT is watchable, perfectly watchable. Has got some good stuff in it. But it has got a lot of stuff that's like, yeah, I'm not sure about that. Didn't need that. Yeah, you know, that's all right. That was what it was. Like, I think it's got a lot of that in it. And I think that it's good. It's okay. It's watchable. There are moments that are great. You know, Trick coming back last week, that was awesome. Like, Trick coming back was really good. And the two best matches of the year are, in my opinion, Ilya against Trick and Lyra against Roxanne. And that's reflected by the community scores as well. So definitely think that there's something a bit off with NXT at the moment, like big picture, but nothing drastic. It's just not as compelling as what Raw and SmackDown are doing at the moment. But as we said, nothing drastic. But yeah, it's not a chore. I'm not sitting here going, oh God, I wish I was doing something else. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm watching it. There's some stuff I like, there's some stuff I don't like. Yeah. All right. I mean, it was for a while my favorite show. I don't know that I can say that anymore. But definitely still worth a watch. There's some good talent down here. Very good talent. Some really good talent coming through as well. Oh, Kalani's been attacked. Kalani's been attacked. Oh, Thea's on her own and she goes out, but Kalani's down. Chase You music plays. Where's Fallon? Thea is making her way out. She says, you've done this. Thea Hale getting into the ring. So at the moment, it looks like we might have a handicap match here. Let's end this poll so that we don't have any confusion as to what it is we're actually voting on. Handicap match. Vic Joseph says this isn't fair. Here she is. Right, drop kick there by Fallon. Fallon drop kicking Izzy. Well, it's a good job she had her ring gear on, isn't it? It's a good job she was backstage in her ring attire. Perhaps she was working a dart match or something. But it is now Fallon and Thea taking on Kiana and Izzy. I love last year when they had Raw storylines intertwined with NXT. There, that was good. Rhea told Dominic, if you don't beat Trick for the title, don't bother coming home. I love that, said Big Time. Yeah, I agree. That was good. And we were seeing the NXT stars popping up on Raw. And I mean, you know, we know what they were doing about the ratings and, like, you know, they're trying to get the best deal they could. But it's just, you know, that's over now, isn't it? That's over now. It's disappointing because it's like they give you all this really good stuff and you're like, oh my God, they're cooking, they're killing it. Shawn Michaels, Booker of the Year. And then as soon as they get the deal and they take like the main roster stars away and you kind of go, oh yeah, okay. Kick coming in there by Fallon. But I really like Fallon, said intoxicated drums. Mr. Quake said Oba Femi versus Oro Mensah. Fallon gets dropped onto that top rope. Tag. In comes Kiana James. I do wish they hadn't made it so blatant, says Big Time. Dave said, show just got a hell of a lot better. Hashtag Fallon for champion. Backflip there by Kiana. She charges into Fallon. Knee to the midsection there by Izzy. Kiana throwing in some shots to the midsection. Thea gets planted down. And kick out there by Fallon. Kick coming in by Izzy. She's got Fallon over by the ropes. Knee to the side of the head there by Izzy. 1, 2. Fallon kicks out, gets her shoulder up. Is twisting on the head, on the neck of Fallon Henley. Do you remember when Fallon Henley dressed up as Tiffany Stratton last year? That was brilliant. That was so good. I think that was Halloween, wasn't it? Brilliant. Here's JC and Jasmine. They've come down. And Thea, I think, has just seen that they've come out. Even though they told her that they were going to be busy, they're clearly not busy. Even that story's a bit weird, isn't it? I mean, why has she turned on Thea? Like, doesn't seem to be much of a reason given as to why she's now turned on her. It just seems like this is what we're doing now, so now just like go in this direction. Thea trying to take Izzy Dane down. Izzy Dane, hope she landed okay. Seemed to land on the top of her head there. She's kind of holding the back of her head. I think she'll be all right. Thea has got Kiana. She plants her. Oof, goes over, lands onto Kiana. Nice. 1, 2. And Izzy Dane makes the save. Weird Kalani got attacked. I'm guessing it was JC that injured Kalani, says A. Jobson. Could be, yeah. Could be. Spinebuster there by Thea. Kiana with the cover, but Thea kicks out. Thea trying to get back up to her feet. Here is Kiana. She's got Thea up. Thea trying to get a Kimura. She got the Kimura. Not quite. Kiana dumps Thea to the outsides. So right now we've got Fallon, we've got Thea, we've got Izzy on the outsides. I don't know what JC's going to do. Oh, JC moved Fallon out the way so that Izzy could kick Thea. Kiana going for the cover on Thea. 2, 3, and there we go. It's a win. It is a win for Kiana and Izzy. Okay, let's get the poll up for this one. Daze, Thea Hale is basically if Red Bull was a wrestler. Yeah, she's fun. She's still really young. I don't know what she's gonna develop into. I mean, she's not the tallest of girls. She's not the most jacked of girls, but I mean, she is still really young, isn't she? Okay, we've got JC and we've got Jasmine getting into the ring after this match. So it's Kiana and Thea's doing a promo now, getting a little upset. I thought you was my best friend. I changed myself for you. Jason's like, I changed myself for you. Well, sucks to be you, doesn't it? I idolized you. I thought you was my sister. But I was wrong. And I'm done. I don't want to be anything like you, says Thea. I'm sorry I'm a loser to you. Guess what? The old Thea Hale is back. She runs around in a circle. Jumps down to her knees. Throws up the Chase U logo. Okay, but what about a calendar? Are we going to get another calendar? What are the chances of another calendar? I mean, it's great to have the old Thea Hale back, but we've only had the one calendar so far. So, I mean, I'm just saying, there's money to be made. Right, here's Riley. Here's Nathan Frazier, Axiom, Riley. Axiom said, I'm very close to the first person that held that cup. Is that A-Kids? Which is him. Because Nathan said, I wonder what happened to that guy. So I'm guessing it is. Thea Hale, yeah! I'm not a fan of Axiom in the match. No, same. Not a fan of the Axiom name. What the hell is that? Sounds like insurance. Trick Williams is here. We got 25 minutes to go. First winner was A-Kid. Which is Axiom. Then it was Tyler Bate. Then it was Noam Dar. Then it was Mark Coffey. Then it was Noam Dar. Then it was Nathan Frazier. Then it was Noam Dar. Then it was Charlie Dempsey. That is the history of the Heritage Cup. A-Kid, Tyler Bate, Noam Dar, Mark Coffey, Noam Dar, Nathan Frazier, Noam Dar, Charlie Dempsey. Probably Noam Dar. Although he is turning his attention to the meta future now. He's looking to the future. Mole Jam, shout out to you. I hope you are well. Gacy and Dempsey make sense. Gacy and Dempsey make sense together. Kemp and Bourne stick out like a sore thumb. Rio said, Daze, be sure to bundle your car and home insurance with Axiom. Axiom. Your one-stop shop for all your insurance needs. Real shout out to you. Mitchell said, it's funny calling her the old Thea Hale when she's like 19. Moljam said, it's good to see everyone again. I hope you well, buds. Wrestle Andy said, what is more prestigious, the Heritage Cup or the Andre Cup? I think the Heritage Cup. I mean, I don't think there's much prestige to the Andre Battle Royal. You win it, and then it's never spoke about ever again. You win it once a year. I couldn't even tell you who the winners were now. I mean, I can remember people that have won it, but I couldn't go blah 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 blah. I mean, I feel like Jey Uso won it one year. Maybe. Did Matt Hardy win it one year? Maybe? I don't know. It's hard to say something's prestigious when you can't even remember who's won it. And it ain't even been around that long. So I remember when they first announced it, we had high hopes for it. We were like, oh my god, this is so good. Like, yeah, people love Battle Royals. And it's named after Andre, and it's going to be at WrestleMania. And then you soon realise that as soon as someone won it, nothing happened after. You just waited for the next year. It doesn't even get mentioned, like, on the shows, like the Andre the Giant. It'll get mentioned probably the first show after they've won it. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner. But after that, it never gets mentioned ever again. So, it's probably the Heritage Cup, innit? Lashley's won it, says James. Jay won it in 2021, said Dro. I just remember a noose winning it. And I think it was Jay. But I couldn't have given you the Oh, here's the Good Brothers. We're starting to run out of time here. We've got 20 minutes to go. I like the Good Brothers. Mitchell, I can remember Big Show, Cesaro, Jay, and Mojo. I forgot about Mojo, you know. I forgot he won it. Here's Hank and Tank. Okay, so Hank and Tank, there's really not much to them, is there? Tank's got a bit something to him. Hank looks like he should work for Axiom. When we shock the world and we win, we won't be surprised. Here's the Wolf Dogs. Ron Breaker, Baron Corbin. I don't know what I'm watching. I don't even know what's happening. What was that? They're all just getting like hyped. It's the Hype Bros. Okay. Right, let's end that poll because we are going over to our next match. We've got Shawn Spears against Ridge Holland. Shawn Spears against Ridge Holland. NXT Stand and Deliver. Ridge versus Shawn Spears. So we're going to have this. I don't think it's going to be that long of a match because we don't have loads of time. And then, of course, we'll be going over to Trick Williams. Right, Ridge against Shawn. If Madcap Moss goes to AEW, I might start watching said Alka Meltzer. We can still get Madcap Boss. That was some weird shit, says James. Shawn Spears. Return of the Yoshi said there's been 9 winners. Cesaro, Big Show, Mojo, Baron, Jay, Matt Hardy, Braun, Riddick Moss, and Lashley. I'd also forgotten Riddick Moss had won it. Oh, hello. Is this Vega from Street Fighter? He's got a white mask on. He's got this white mask. Reminds me of Vega from Street Fighter. And when he removes it, he's got such a lovely angelic face. When he takes it up like this, he's like... Ridge picking up Shawn. Let's see what these two can do then. Shawn has got Ridge in the middle of the ring. Ridge picks him up. Ridge grabbing Shawn with a slap. Let it out. Clothesline there. I wonder if these two are going to become a tag team. I never really thought about that. You know, he's telling him to let it out and all this kind of stuff. Ridge and Shawn as a team, that could be interesting. Over in the corner, face first goes Ridge Holland. Daze, I went to the American Legion Post 100 to see AR Dub Pro. Well, I hope you had a good time, Carmen Live, too. Hope you had fun. Bishop said, what are your thoughts of Obafemi? I think he's big. I think he's imposing. I think he plays the part of being a big man really well. You get a lot of big men that don't really know how to sort of express themselves and be confident in their size. I feel like, you know, Omos just sort of makes his way down and sort of stands there, and I don't know, like, yeah, some big guys are just really great at being big guys. You know, they just, their confidence in their size comes through. Other guys, I don't know, them sort of showing off and embracing who they are, like, it can be a bit awkward for them. It can come across as a bit forced, a bit cheesy. There's none of that with Obafemi. Obafemi comes out and he's just this monster and he plays the monster well. And I think it helps with the cameras looking up at him and like do those kind of camera shots and everything. I think he's excellent at being a giant. His actual in-ring, we haven't seen loads out of him. It's big impact moves, you know. But to be honest, I don't think you should really be looking at like an Femi and expecting a 5-star match. It's not really what his purpose is. His purpose is to be a wrecking machine. And actually, I mean, like, he was just relentlessly slamming like Brooks Jensen down. It was like, dude, he's dead. He's dead. You can stop now. But he just kept going. It's like, dudes, you know, he's sending a message, really. Which, you know, considering, I mean, you got to remember, he's been on the roster. I mean, I know he's been around in NXT for a while, but actually, like, you know, week after week being on the roster, it ain't been that long. So for me, like, you know, you want to see a little bit in his promos. I mean, he talks all right. We haven't done like live promos in the ring. I'd like to see that. We've done some backstage stuff that's been fine. I don't think that he feels very one-dimensional at the moment, but that's because he hasn't got a storyline. There's not really much to dig into at the moment. Like, we need to see him get into some feuds. We need to see what he's like when he's up against it. We need to see what he's like when he's outnumbered. We need to see what he's like when he faces adversity. You know, we need to put him into some storylines and see, like, you know, tell some stories with him. So I'd say right now he comes across as an excellent giant. He's solid in the ring. He's got big power moves. He feels like a boss. He doesn't feel out of place. He doesn't feel like he's acting. But he does feel a bit one-dimensional. I want to get a bit more depth there. So, yeah, which you can definitely get. You just need to do some more interviews, backstage segments, storylines. It'll come with time. And then, like, you know, see what his promos are like in the ring as well. But at the moment, his look is there. His matches are, you know, squash matches. They're all what they are. And promo-wise, can't really answer that. But, yeah, I think he's got great potential. I think you'd look at Femi and you'd think, yeah, I mean, at the moment, can't see any reason why Femi can't be going to the main roster and going after a mid-card title in a few years. But hopefully we can build him up to where he's like a WrestleMania main event talent. And who knows, he may get there, but you know, size alone doesn't do that for you. You've got to have a bit more about you, you know, than just size. So otherwise Otis would be main event talent. So you've got to have a bit more about you than that. But yeah, so far I'd say so good. Daze, I did have a good time at the ARW Pro Do or Die. That is the next event. Well, I hope you have a good time at that one as well, my friend. Right, we are back to the action. We've got 10 minutes to go and maybe an overrun. NXT has done a poor job of fleshing out the Femi character and purpose, says Big Time. I treat wrestling as live theatre, says Mitchell. A-Job said, this is a main event match. I'm sure WWE stans will find a silver lining. My silver lining is we got Trick Williams coming up. And I'm really not sold on Sean Spears. So he's got Ridge tied in the ropes. You let me down. You let everybody down. You let your wife down. Why? I still don't get what this is about. How did he let Sean Spears down? Sean's like, you let me down, you let the people down, you let your wife down. Why? How? What's he on about? Headbutt by Ridge Holland, clothesline by Ridge Holland. Ridge has got Sean, chucks him over the top. Daze, how has Raw been? I skipped the last few weeks. There's not enough to keep me watching for 3 hours. It's been alright. Been alright. I mean, I think you're gonna get like periods where you can't, you know, not. it's very rare for a 3-hour Raw to like be full of stuff that you want to watch. So I would say that it has its moments. You know, I thought the Cody promo was great. The Gauntlet match was great. Or the end of the Gauntlet match was great. Becky and Liv was worth a little watch. So it had its moments. But, you know, equally, you had the Maxine moment, which was a bit weird. And I think could have been done better if it was a promo rather than a match. And, you know, there was just bits in there which you could have skipped. But I think you'll always get that, you know. So for me, it was probably like a 7 to 5 sort of a range. Ridge has grabbed Sean. He's going to look to plant him through the commentary table, and he does. Oh, man, I think them sweets went absolutely everywhere this week. Crowd's enjoying that. So, Sean Spears is chokeslammed through the table. Is Ridge embracing the rage? This is what Sean Spears is all about. Trying to drive Ridge to his dark side. Ridge went to use the chair, but the referee grabbed the chair. Roll up by Sean Spears to kick out. This match is still going on. It's got him up. Oh, man. He just planted him onto that chair in a really horrible way. Sean Spears gets the win. That was... Oh, God. He just planted Ridge onto the chair, but the chair was lay flat on the ground. So, like, he probably caught a bit of, like, you know, the edge of the chair, whatever. Didn't look fun. Really didn't look fun, that. Well, I hope we get some clarity as to why Sean is trying to get Ridge to embrace his rage and why he's trying to get him all fired up. And right now, I still don't know what this is about. I just don't get this story at all. I don't understand what we're doing. I don't understand what Sean Spears is trying to do. I'm wondering if he's trying to unleash the rage so that they can become like partners and work together. I did it, says Sean. Well, Sean seems pleased with what he's achieved. Next week, we're going to have Roxanne against Tatum. Should be good. Roxanne Tatum next week. Come on, give me some good stuff. What else you got? Also, we've got Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson against Tank and Tank. Axiom and Nathan Frazier take on 2 members of No Quarter Catch Crew. And we've got a Heritage Cup match. Huh? Heritage Cup match? 1 member of No Quarter Catch Crew is going to take on Riley Osborne, but isn't Charlie Dempsey the champ? So that Heritage Cup's going to be defended by someone that's not Charlie Dempsey? I know they've got that no quarter catch clause, whatever, but didn't realise that was going to come into effect if you was a champion as well. Oh, I don't know how I'd feel about that if I was Charlie Dempsey. Oh, well, there we go. That's what's coming up next week. Brony said, I would have Roxanne beat Lyra for the title at Stand and Deliver. Lyra's title reign has been flat for me. I'm interested in a heel Roxanne with the title. Yeah, I like heel Roxanne. Roxanne is going to be good to see in the ring, said Intoxicated Drums. Roxanne's now a heel. What are your thoughts on Roxanne as a heel? Mr. Quake, says Drone. The Heritage Cup stuff is starting to get a bit confusing. William said, Daze, you fly to Florida. We've got to meet up. You, me, Tommy, Hooters. Hooters still a thing? Do they still have it? I'd have thought that would have been cancelled by now. We used to have a Hooters in Birmingham, but it's gone. I think there's one left in the UK. I'm going to Google it. Hooters restaurants. Oh, let's go. Baller bundle. Let's go. Let's have a look what we got. Here we go, boys. Here we go. Baller bundle. Look at all this. Score 16 boneless wings and fries. That's how I'm celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Yeah. Own the night, or at least half-price apps. Find my Hooters. I can help you out with that. Right, hang on. Let's get. Let me put in Florida, because that's where we want to go. Is it gonna do it? I did wonder if it'll let me do it, because it might be like, you are not in Florida. Sometimes it's like uses your area. Oh no, it has come back. How many have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there's loads. Oh, mate, I'm gonna go on a crawl. Mate, look at all these. Yeah. Just going to spend 2 weeks going around to look at all these. Oh my god, man, it's thriving. It's rivaling McDonald's. Absolutely everywhere. Hey, have you seen that as well? Showing UFC. So you can go over to that one to watch UFC. It's fun, isn't it? I wonder if they do that for W. What about when WrestleMania's on? You could go to Gainesville. Store details. We got it all. Let's go. It looks good, actually. Look at that bar. It's quite nice. These are all the beers. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's a good range, man. Ooh, look at all these drinks. Yeah, let's go. Open 11 till 12. Yeah, William, you're right. Let's do it. Let's go. We can get some merch whilst they're there, should we? What the hell? Look at these can callers. Oh my god, why is it throbbing? What's it doing? It's like throbbing or something. Amazing. That is amazing. Golf boobsy. What's a golf boobsy? I love that hat. Oh god, we've found. Oh, look at that. We found some. Get a clock. I said clock. A medal. AirPod case. Imagine being out and getting your AirPods out of the Hooters case. Wow, this might be the greatest thing I've ever seen, to be honest. PSD underwear. Ah, we gotta go. Stupid Trick Williams. Found my new beanie. Trick. Well, that trick. Let's go. That There he is. Usually I come out here, step in the ring, grab my microphone. Today I'm struggling to find the words to say what I need to say. It's quite the outfit, that, isn't it? He's raided Seth Rollins' wardrobe. When I say that you're my brother, that means I take food off my plate so that you can eat too. Mellow. Why? He's jealous? That's why. Of your sparkly suit? Watching you succeed made me want to step up my game. Mitchell said, Daze, some people say, oh my god, they've got that in Florida. For me, it's just a Tuesday. Oh, mate. Jealous? We've only got one Hooters, I think, in the country now. I never used to go, but it's a good sports bar, in all fairness. So many bars are closing down. If you want to go somewhere to have a good beer and like watch all the sports on TV, there are not loads of places now. People just do it at home, don't they? John Cena. John Cena told you Trick Mella's hating on you. John Cena told him. Mello, did you attack me? And you looked me in the eyes. And you lied to my face. You've been lying for a long time. You lied about being my brother. You said you did what we did because we're not on the same level. We've never been on the same level. Oh, man. We've never been on the same level. He says you'd have to get onto a step stool with your little punk ass. Oh. Oh, you did him dirty, man. Stand and deliver. I'm going to pay you back for everything you did to me. Will that be the end of Carmelo in NXT as well? Carmelo goes to the main roster. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Metaphor? The flip? You deserved it. You deserve it. Hello, we got signs in the crowds. Wow. Bougie bully. Whoop that trick. Metaphor. Some people have brought signs. You lost your best friend, and 2 weeks ago I lost what mattered to me the most. So Noam Dar said he's made the big boy decision to move on to bigger and better things. I wasn't expecting this. Noam Dar to come out and confront Trick Williams. Chikara looks awesome as well. Let's be serious. There's no one hotter than you right now, says Noam. Look at the way Lash is looking at me. Yeah, man, the crowd love that. You need to listen what Noam's trying to tell you, boo. So, Trick's in the ring, Noam's getting in, Metaphor are making their way in. One trick pony. That's a good line by Noam. We're going to fight about it. Big shot, Noam goes down. Lash went to hit Chair. They're going to kiss. That would be... Oh, she's... Oh, what's going on? What is this? They are kissing! What's going on? Noam's like, what's happening? What the hell? Trick and Lash Legend just had a moment. Oh, she's like, she can't get over it. And the crowd are chanting his name even louder now. Player's gonna play. Lash is like, whatever. That's fun. That was fun. Wow, close your eyes. Oh, I can't believe it. Oh my god, my pulse is racing. I'm a mess. But aren't they a couple? I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. I was not aware that they were. Mello, Steel, Lash from the Dafty. Maybe they are together in real life. Maybe they are, but even if they're not, it's not an issue, you know? I mean, we were doing Riley and Thea Hale, like, you know, little flirty thing going on, but we know they're not together. So maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But yeah, it was just a bit out the blue. Like, it's just, I don't know, weird. Like, I don't know where that's going. I mean, it'll be good because, like, if we do Trick versus Noam next week or whatever, then obviously you've got this whole sub-story now of, like, what's Lash gonna do? Because has she got feelings for Trick now? It's a weird little story to do when we're trying to build up to Trick and Carmelo. This weird little whatever this is. That's strange, and it's been do you know what? It's been a lot of stuff tonight. It's just been strange. Just strange. Go, well, that was strange. Hank and Tank. That was strange. Elia being, like, you know, kidnapped. The NXT champion being kidnapped. Go, well, that was strange, wasn't it? That was a weird thing that we did. I feel like there was just a few of them types of moments. I can't believe it. The new Macho and Liz. Oh, very good. Lash Legend. Lash Legend. I love you. Oh, man. In my head now, that woman with, like, the rain jacket on, you know, jumping around with the glasses. I can see her in my mind now. What did you score WWE NXT? So it is the 12th. If you want to go and vote, if you go over to Wrestling Daze Clips, you can go over there and get your scores in. I've already got the scores. There was no, well, I've got the scores of the main event. Yeah, all of that was weird with Lexis King and Sean Spears. That ain't grabbing me at all. Really not feeling all that stuff. But really, you know, it's kind of what happens at the end that you remember most. So did that Lash Legend, Trick Williams, Noam Dar segment lift up everyone's scores? We will find out. You can make your voices heard by going over to Wrestling Daze Clips. If you go over to Wrestling Daze Clips, then you can go over there and vote. What I want to do is get back to the chats. It's nightmare having to keep switching accounts. Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go there. Lovely. You should look up Hooter locations in Indiana. Well, I'm not going to be in Indiana, though. So it would be a bit fruitless. Because I won't be there to be able to enjoy. Big Time said 7. Sean was definitely on crack tonight. According to Wrestling Forum, they have been dating since the end of January. Alan said Trick deserved a kiss on the lips. I give NXT tonight an 8, says Carmen Live. With the rise of Lash Legend and the super over Trick Williams together, it could be a powerful story and a powerful force. Manny said Trick and Lash have been in each other's Instagram comments for a while, but I don't know if they're actually together. A show with kissing, 11 out of 10. Jay said, I didn't watch. Was it a good show? I would say a bit of a mixed bag, but the reviews are coming in quite positive. Green said 6.5. Danny said 6.25. But then we've got a few 7s in there as well. An 8.5 from Joey. William, good night, buds. My virgin eyes cannot handle that ending. Trick and Lash are dating, says Brony. Danny said Trick whoops that trick. Are you going to watch NXT live in Florida, says Matthew. I'd like to. Yes, I would like to. I don't know that I'll be able to get into the actual show, but they, I think, do try and do some house shows as well, so I might see if I can get to one of those, maybe. Right. Well, look, with that being said, I need to run away anyway, because I've got to go and do Unseen, and to be perfectly truthful, because I did the opinions video, and because we've done the wrestling escape pods, I am nowhere near as far along with today's Unseen as I should be. So I'm going to run away and do that. A big thank you to everyone that joined us. I know there wasn't really anything massive going down tonight, but I think there were still some moments in there, and it seems like your scores are certainly not terrible. So there were certainly some moments, some talking points, and we'll see what the score kind of comes out as on when are we doing next? SmackDown next is our next stream. We will do a member stream, but yeah, SmackDown is our next stream, but there will be Unseen videos hitting the channel over the next couple of days, of course. So thanks a lot for watching, thanks a lot for joining us. Have a great evening wherever you are, and we'll finish from this from James. He says the ending was great. Getting old Thea back is awesome, but there's also a lot of beep that doesn't make sense. I agree with that. I agree with that. I think there is a lot here that I'm like either not really feeling or is not landing for me. So I love the Trick segment. I thought that was brilliant. But if I'm brutally honest, I think I'm in the 6s at best here. I think that Trick segment did pick the score up, but yeah, I mean, like Lexis King against Mr. Stone didn't do it for me. The Sean Spears match didn't do it for me. You know, and like there was just a bit something you're like, So yeah, for me, I think that, once again, I think this is another NXT show that I would expect to kind of feature down with all the other NXT shows that have struggled in 2024. I don't know. I feel like with the talent they've got, I think they could be doing better than what they're doing right now. And that sounds like a bit harsh, but I think they can be doing better than this. I feel like they were doing better than this. I feel like it was better than this, than where we are right now. So, no great disasters, no great issues. Certainly not like a 2 or a 3 or anything like that. But I just think we're kind of, it's another week of us getting what we've been getting. That's my opinion. So, right, thanks for watching. Appreciate the support, and I will see you again next time.